regular price. Score unreal savings on unrivaled quality from America's original butcher. That's omahasteaks.com. Garden in the search bar to order today.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
In a metro area of our size, it gets kind of noisy. Freeway traffic to the ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk of construction. A break in the action is only a few minutes away in Sarpy County, Nebraska. From Fontanelle Forest in Bellevue to Schramm Park in Gretna, and all the miles of bike and walking trails in between, you can pop the pods out of your ears and relax with a symphony of a more natural variety. But there's still lots of shopping, sports, concerts, and stuff. Just saying. Click GoSarpy.com. Sarpy County. So near, so fun.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
As a veteran, you get a lot of advice. But wisdom's harder to come by. A lot of people imagine themselves in our shoes without understanding the weight on our shoulders. The truth is, few can understand the pressure of finding your own way after serving in the military. But few isn't none. You've got support. You can't control the chaos, but you can chart your way through it. Steady yourself. Take a breath. You're not alone. Learn more at maketheconnection.net.
Your home is the place where you know your loved ones are secure. But the things that keep your home protected can't keep pests at bay. That's where RAID comes in. For 60 years, RAID scientists have worked to protect people around the world. With trusted research, ingredients, testing standards, and product efficacy, RAID seeks to create a better future for all, especially the ones you love most. RAID, protection for all.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
1620 The Zone.
Swung on and driven to center field. Going back is the center fielder, Carlson. He looks up. It's in the basket. Cody Bellinger on fire all month long and delivers a 2-run homer here in the first. The Cubs up 2-0, and this place is hopping. The 0-2 to Gomes is hit towards left center. That's going to find the gap all the way off the door of the bullpen. 2 runs will score. Happ and then Swanson. Gomes stands at second after a 2-run double. The Cubs have blown it open.
1-2. And Diaz hits it in the air to left. It sends back Kemp. Still going back, looking up. See you later! Over the out-of-town scoreboard in left center for Yainer Diaz. And we're tied at 1. Yiner with his 11th of the year. Pitch on the way. And Dubon slugs it pretty deep to left. Kip is back, looking up. See you later! Miss a side and then hit a home run, Mauricio Dubon. Astros lead it 3-2.
Next pitch, and that's a shot that's hit to dead center field, and that one is a line drive home run. It is out of here. Shohei Ohtani with home run number 36 of the season. He's had 11 of them in his last 21 games, and that swing of the bat ties things up quickly. It's 1-1.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Oh boy, Monday's going to get off to an interesting start for a lot of people. Not only this show, but a lot of people that are logging onto social media. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday.
Yeah, what is that when I did our tweet?
Yeah. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. It is raining here in the Big O. There's quite a lightning show going on outside. But there will be quite a blank show when people log on to the Bird app. I'm still going to call it the Bird app. Good morning. Split show today. You just heard Jimmy. I'm Gary. Nick is in his home studio. The little guy is under the weather, and Nick is taking orders at a Scooters this morning.
Yeah, you guys, everybody good on a Monday? Need a little extra latte? Huh?
I'll take a triple shot, please.
Do you
guys, we had our first evening of the kids sleeping in our bed. Never again.
The first time?
First time he's ever slept in our, overnight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's got to be like a big deal. Now I know why he slept. I know why he re-slept with you guys because he's under the weather. But to go that long and he hasn't crawled into bed with you guys, good on you. Good, Mr. Parent.
Well, he just converted from the crib into you take the face of the crib off, then it becomes like a half bed. This happened about 2 months ago. And so that was the whole thing. We're just assuming now at some point he's just going to open up the door, come rolling into the bed, but hasn't done it yet. But last night it's been 24 hours. It's but it's good to see you guys. This is a great escape from the last 24 hours.
No sleep Sunday in the Handley house.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Welcome to football week, everybody, because Big Ten Media Days will commence in Indianapolis on Wednesday and Thursday. Connor and myself, we will be out there with all the coverage. Nebraska's day is until Thursday, but football is here. This is also the last week without a football game that I believe for a while, because next weekend will be the Hall of Fame game.
Oh, you warmed my heart on a Monday morning.
Where'd the summer go?
It's going to be here this week.
Isn't that a very Midwestern thing to say? Man, where'd that summer go?
We needed the rain.
Just seemed like it was the College World Series, and now kids are going back to school. But
5 months from Christmas Eve.
It is football week. Now, here is the thing that a lot of us are waking up to. We've been waking up to a lot of the stuff on the Bird app that is just completely mind-boggling. But if you log on today, they have made the transition on the logo from the Bird to the X. Have you logged on to Twitter yet, Nick?
Yep.
Okay, so it is kind of jarring when you first see it. You have there was a login to your account blank from a new device, and it's got the X.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Staples Center. Does anyone call it the crypto crib or whatever officially they spent millions of dollars on? Yeah, it'll always be the Staples Center. This is always going to be Twitter with the Bird app, but Elon has gone full X today, and it is kind of it catches you when you first see it. So I have told everybody, be forewarned. The Bird is being out, but to most of us, the Bird will always have a place because, as you know, Bird is the word.
You guys know when you get on Google and sometimes there'd be you'd be celebrating something that day, or there'd be a national this day, and so Google would have something specific. Okay, when I first logged on to Twitter, I thought, was this some type of anniversary for Malcolm X?
Oh,
I
okay.
seriously did. I thought, okay, well, there's some type of tribute that they're paying to Malcolm X. Like, I honestly had no idea what this whole X thing was.
I thought Xavier McDaniel, but to each their own.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Old school Missouri Valley Conference. Good on you. That is plus 100 points on the board. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, you had not heard that he was changing the logo?
I didn't know when it was happening. And so, yeah, there it was. Like, whoa, what do we got here? What's going on?
To me, it's always the Staples Center. Kobe didn't play in the crypto arena. Kobe played in the Staples Center. So when you see that this morning, don't be alarmed. The thing actually works again. 70% of the activity is down on Threads. Did you know that?
I believe it. I forgot I had it until somebody.
Yeah, I have it.
There's a drop of 70% of the daily users on Threads. So for everybody that was over on Threads, hope you had a good time, and welcome back to X.
Yeah, X. X marks the spot.
Well, I don't know enough. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Elon and I are not tight.
Really?
I didn't want to assume, but
it's just one of those things. Do you think that he's doing it as something for DMX?
Hey, I like that.
DMX, maybe exhibit, you know? Could go
X marks the spot.
X going to give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, X going to give a lot of people some headaches when they're dealing with the Bird app this morning. All right, welcome everybody. It is a Monday. We'll keep you updated on the weather. A severe storm moving through the area. It is quite the light show outside. If you are up and out, Adam, we got a great lineup for you. We're going to talk some basketball. We'll sneak in some football as well because it is football time around here. Brought to you by the Roofery's of John Higgins Weather Guard, Amy Just, Jacob Bigelow, and Joel Lorenzi. We should probably start this morning. You're a balding fella. I'm not fully there. That's what you should always start with, right, Nick?
Yes.
I
like how you said I'm a balding fella. I'm bald, man.
It's a follically
there's no ing about it, man. I'm bald.
I don't want to go all in. I mean, I want to give you a little bit of in case there's an adjustment.
Appreciate that.
But today is the day that if you are like 5'6", 5'7" in your mid 30s and you're balding, this is a day like you can celebrate. Brian Harmon is your hero as he won the British Open yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to be Debbie Downer, actually going to be Gary Downer, about the Open and the final major of the year. You guys are going to have to help me out here. What was the most memorable thing about the Open? Was it Brian Harmon? Was it Brian Harmon yesterday when it was typical Open conditions? Basically opening up a pro shop underneath his umbrella that he was carrying with all the gloves that he had. It's great to win a major. First time you won a major. I had a friend who said, man, I didn't realize the Open was going on until I got an ESPN alert on my phone yesterday. I'm like, you probably don't be ashamed. You probably aren't alone that the interest in the Open this year, even with an American winning and in impressive fashion and no drama, there was nothing about this major that made me go, wow.
No. And
it was an golf tournament.
Honestly, the most memorable thing was probably what happened on Saturday with John Rahm at 63. That was on Saturday. And so at least it kind of presented a little bit of a narrative going into Sunday that, okay, if Rahm can stay on a heater, maybe you get a guy like Brian Harmon who people forget has actually finished in the top 10 in the last couple of British Opens, but it's one of those guys that kind of has a good Sunday. So all of a sudden you're looking at, okay, well, you get some of those guys that creep into the top 10 on those Sundays because they had a really good charge. But yeah, like John Rahm's 63 on Saturday at least gave me hope because I'm with you. I was telling my wife this yesterday because she asked who ended up winning. And I said, exactly. I said, there was really no drama about it. And it was kind of blah. And that looked good on Brian Harmon, but from a viewership standpoint, that's not always great.
Well, you combine that. So there's a lot of stuff about this. And I think there's a thing about Americans, and in me in particular. I'm not a fan of golf in the 80s. I'm just not. I'll get to that.
No.
But what I missed out here is for people that are on the stream that can see, I'm not going to move the microphone down. I mean, before the show, I could do a little waggle, get my waggles in, do a little waggling. I mean, when did he develop the old Sergio Garcia, Kevin Na? I mean, waggle, waggle, waggle. I stand corrected. It not only was people couldn't see that, and they don't want to see the lower half.
It was
either.
good.
There was some stuff that shouldn't be moving like that at 6:19. But
especially without
so I have two things. So I want to be fair here. Okay, and this is it's a Monday. We want to start the week on a positive note. There was the waggling and the pro shop that he opened up underneath his umbrella. Okay, I found two things that were memorable about this weekend. But another part of this discussion about the weekend of a major, which middle of July, doesn't have a ton of competition, is NBC's coverage. Not new. We discussed it in length on Friday. NBC's coverage of golf is awful.
Yeah.
Just it's how it's produced, how it's directed, just the flow. It is awful. And then you throw in the result of a guy that grabbed the lead on Friday and never let it go. And in my opinion, was decent, not dominant. I think the ratings for this are going to be atrocious.
I don't disagree with the ratings on it. I've always been a little bit more, and maybe because I'm still soured by Fox's little experiment with the U.S. Open, and I like Dan Hicks too. So NBC's coverage for me has always been okay. I would agree, though, and you kind of brought it up on Friday. There were a lot of different things they started to try. They're doing a lot of drone footage. There's just a lot of different camera angles that they were trying. If you ever,
I don't have a problem with the drone footage. I love that the Masters are doing that. I'm talking about. I saw. I mean, how about less commercials, more coverage?
A novel concept.
Yes,
more golf,
and you're right. And you brought it up. I think you said what Jordan Spieth had chipped on Thursday. And then he had like a birdie attempt, and they go right to commercial. I didn't notice that until you brought that up on Friday. And you're right. And so you could tell they probably heard, or maybe the think tank got together and they tried to remedy it. So they tried to do it the split screen, but they're really odd opportunities to do that. So it's, the whole playing through concept is great, but it's not like, hey, we have this at our disposal, so let's use it all the time. I mean, it almost felt like you saw more split screen than you did the actual full screen viewing. And then for our friends over at Channel 6, I got to learn that the program updates on Saturday morning with Space Odyssey would return to its original programming the following week. And then yesterday, the, what was it, Mass for Shut-ins? I think it was Mass for Shut-ins would return to its original programming on Sunday. So, I mean, you had like this huge like information block on the bottom of the screen here locally, thinking like there was a severe thunderstorm warning when it was just really to inform me that Mass for Shut-ins would be on its original schedule the following Sunday. So yeah, and I know that's not necessarily NBC national coverage, but it was clunky. I think it was definitely kind of clunky. Then you had kind of the weather impacting a lot of stuff on Sunday as far as when you're trying to shoot through all of the different rain and everything that kind of goes with that doesn't help the whole product either. So yeah,
first 4 days I'm okay with commercials. We all got to pay the bills. We have commercials on this radio station. That's how we get paid. We keep the lights on here for a golf event, which NBC probably sold out of their inventory. I get it. You got to pay the bills. Sponsors want to be attached to it. I have no problem Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But when you get to Sunday, how about less commercials, more golf? And it seemed like yesterday it wasn't a difference. Now, I was out of town, so I was watching it in a different city, so I did not get to learn that Mass for Shut-ins would be shown at 1 a.m. If you wanted to stay up, if usually you're there for the 10 a.m. Mass for Shut-ins on Sunday and WWT, if you can just get a little grandpa nap in and then get up with us at 1, you'll still get your blessing. Yeah. And even though it is in Monday, it will count. Was that part of the scroll?
It should have been. And I had no idea that they, I think Space Odyssey was a big thing on Saturday mornings too. I had no idea.
Well, there used to be a thing when cartoons used to be a big deal.
Right.
On NBC.
I learned how a bill became a bill. Yeah. Where's Ahmad Rashad in the NBA?
Right. There's a lot of things that I did not know.
Vince Scully in the game of the week.
Where's Summer Saunders? Hey, so another thing about the Open is, and I'm glad that an American won because he got heckled. Okay, people, the Brits were trying to take down us USA, and Brian Harman said, "Not so fast, my friends." I saw that Georgia football took credit for him winning the Open.
Proud of
and I know why they did, because less than 1% of the tickets out there had Harman winning. So he was doubted, just like Georgia football has always been doubted. But do you guys think this? And in this country, we love stars. I was thinking earlier in the week, look at Friday night, how much excitement there was when Messi scored. Now, he's a little overrated because it took him until the 94th minute to score.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think a guy that shows up, his first touch, it should be in the back of the net. But we love stars in this country. We love our Hollywood stars. We went and saw Barbie. She's a star. We went and saw Oppenheimer this weekend. But stars in this country, we love. We also, at times, in our sports fandom, we love underdogs. The first 2 days of the NCAA tournament, give me upsets. I love Cinderella. But you know what? I don't want to marry Cinderella. I would just like to hang out with her for a little bit. And then after the weekend, she goes away. Some people would like that relationship. Maybe some people have that relationship and it's week after week after week. But I only like those underdogs there. But don't you guys think, again, this is going off of Brian Harmon. Yes, Brian Harmon, no relation to Mark. No relation to any other Harmon that has been out there in the sports world. In golf, we don't like underdogs. In our majors, we do not like underdogs in our majors because look at the U.S. Open last month. You had a good golfer, but essentially an underdog won while the whole collective was rooting for one guy who is technically a star.
Yeah, and I think that's why the Michael Block story was so much fun because he never really threatened to win. Yet here's a guy that's he's a club pro and he gets an ace and didn't know it. Like, it was a cute story, but if he was actually pushing, if it was like the real life version of Roy McIlroy, like trying to carry the water on 18 there at the U.S. Open, I think a lot of people would have been like, no, you can finish in the top 10. Hell, you can get a top 5 finish. That's fine. But you're absolutely right because I remember yesterday, and again, I go back to John Rahm Saturday. I was elated by that because there was a guy that actually had won majors and a guy that understands what it takes to win on a Sunday. And here he goes just out of nowhere, just fires a 63. So he puts himself in contention. So you're hoping, okay, given his experience and his ability to kind of charge and the lack of knowing what Brian Harmon could really do on that stage, this provides a little bit of drama. But then after the first 5 or 6 holes, you lost that. So I think that we appreciate the underdog story as a top 5 or a top 10. But if he's in the final group or he's really charging, and yeah, you're right, I would throw Wyndham Clark in there too. That we like our names. We like to see that because the reason those guys are names is because they pull off some of the most amazing shots in crunch time, and we've seen it, and we continue to want to see that. Now, if Brian Harmon, who, by the way, Waggle, anybody who's seen, hopefully you've seen it multiple times, Caddyshack, that is the Judge Smales Waggle, is what that is. But it is truly one of those situations where you build up that equity, you build up that reputation of being a big shot dude in the big moment. And we just don't know that enough about Wyndham Clark. We don't know that enough about Brian Harmon. Is it great for those guys? And it's a cool story for them. Yeah, sure. But as far as what it does to the audience, as far as keeping you sort of in the moment, it gravitates an audience, not like it does with other sports.
Look at the NBA Finals. America loves their superstars.
Yep.
It doesn't just have to be golf, doesn't like underdogs in majors. America loves superstars. Jokic, best player in the NBA, or at least one of the top 3 in the NBA, but he's not technically a superstar. Now, I imagine he is now, but the Nuggets are still going to get the same kind of treatment with a little bit of extra love because they're the world champions next year on television.
But it's like, who will they be playing?
But look at the whole discussion we had in the month of June about Denver and Miami playing. Miami had a bigger superstar than Denver did, but Denver was clearly the better team. And the collective around the country was like, okay. Funny guy, likes horses, likes taking selfies with his horses, doesn't love basketball, but plays basketball.
Makes good money.
We love our superstars. I mean, I keep going back to Friday night. People that I thought were not soccer aficionados, like down on the sport completely, they were like, this is a great night. We got Messi, and we've got the U.S. women are playing against Vietnam.
A big worry match.
But Messi, gets the game-winning goal, and people lose their mind. They're like, man, that Messi. We love superstars. I got to believe that golf fans will not love the Open, and the TV ratings will show, and there'll be a clamoring of, okay, if it wasn't the Ryder Cup year, golf disappears now until you come back with Augusta. But we have the Ryder Cup year.
Well, the other thing is, I think as a sports viewing nation, we want our cake and eat it. We want the underdog story as long as it does not impact the final match that we
Thursday
see.
at the NCAA tournament. I can do it on Thursday and Friday. Saturday, Sunday in my final groupings, especially for majors, I want guys that are recognizable.
I agree. I'm 100% with you on that. That's why the U.S. Open, now the British Open, to me, have been kind of flat. And you're right. Good to know about the Ryder Cup being a Ryder Cup year, and now having a lot of that, uncertainty when it comes to how the live golfers will be treated, and how that is all going to work, and who's going to make. I mean, like over the weekend we kind of touched on I think on Thursday or Friday. Justin Thomas, he's not a lock to necessarily make it in, other than the fact that he and Zach Johnson apparently they shared a VRBO. Good on Justin Thomas sharing a VRBO in the British Open with the captain of the Ryder Cup, knowing that, hey, if I can get in some good quality time with him, even if I suck the way that Justin Thomas has sucked, I could still get in his ear, make sure that he makes me a captain's pick. But yeah, it's just kind of weird, especially with golf, where you're seeing a lot of these events now post Tiger, and I think it's safe to say we can go post Tiger, even though he did win the Masters here not that long ago. You're not seeing Tiger in any real events anymore. So this is the post Tiger world, and I think golf is in a great spot. I think they're doing a lot of good things to really promote the sport, but that's one of those things. I think when you're promoting the sport, when you have major championships, you need your core group, your superstars. They need to be relevant there in that final couple hours on those Sundays. And the last two majors, they haven't.
Yeah, I like drama. Okay, I don't like drama in a personal life. I like drama in my sports world. We didn't, and again, decent, not dominant, was my opinion of Brian Harman. He led by at least 5 shots after the last 3 rounds of the tournament. I went to a IndyCar race this weekend. There was one pass for the lead. There was one caution. It didn't happen until lap 152. I wanted drama. I wanted the bouncing tire across the middle of the track where you have drivers going 150 miles an hour trying to avoid it. I want drama in my sports. I got no drama. And thus, I probably was not as fully invested in a major as I usually am. So maybe apologies, Brian Harman, but tough to find what was the most memorable thing out of the weekend. There is more to this because we'll talk about the golf and presentation part of NBC. It is a Ryder Cup year. Nick brought up Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas might be in trouble to make that team. Oh, golf is a really weird game. Just there's guys that come and go, and then they come back again, and then there's Rory, who his putting failed him again, and his quest for a major is now going to reach a decade after another top 10, but not the result that we wanted, because if we get that, we are talking 4 hours about how great it is that a lovable guy that is a star that has won another major.
Yeah, he's back, and now we're going to see the other part of his career chasing down major. Yeah, and he's close. There was the Ricky story for a while too. We're hoping that could play in effect. And again, like I said, Saturday, maybe John Rahm could go for another major this year after winning the Masters. Not to be. Hey, by the way, was there a very loud cheer for the Kirk Ferentz Start Your Engines? Because
I did not go on. I didn't go on Sunday over at Iowa Speedway. I went Saturday, so I got my Caitlin Clark.
Oh, okay.
My Kenny Chesney and Carrie Underwood.
Nice.
My Joseph Newgarden.
Well, Hy-Vee was all over it. I saw that.
Yes, they are a big sponsor. It's you know what? So they had the back-to-back IndyCar races at Iowa Speedway in Newton. It's a great event. The track is great. The setup is great. The fans are great. What they do, what Hy-Vee does for the event. I had a great weekend over there. I'd never been there before. They put on a heck of a show. I mean, an amazing show over there. But I got a Caitlin Clark thought that I'll share a little bit later, because yes, I waited in line to get her autograph for a friend. For a friend. Let me finish. For a friend. I have some thoughts and some observations when we get to that, and also a really good poll question, considering it is Big Ten Media Days, and Kirk Ferentz will speak to the media on Wednesday.
Will you ask him about Northwestern?
Well, I believe that we will find out if Northwestern will be there later today, because there is something major coming out of Evanston, according to attorney Ben Crump, this morning.
That can't be good. Great name, by the way.
Yes, it is. All right. There is Nick. He is at home. I'm in studio. Jimmy here as well. A little bit later, Amy Just will join us. Jacob Bigelow, Nebraska basketball. Got a out of nowhere. Where did that come from? Commitment last night for the 23-24 season. And Joel Lorenzi will stop by. Off and running on a rainy start to your Monday morning, but the unrelenting heat is going to join us here in Omaha. The rest of the country's got to be in the hundreds. We finally get to play that game. Yeah.
Look forward to everyone panicking and, it's so bad. I just remember this being the norm growing up, so it'll be a little warm.
We're almost out of July, and we're now having this. I'll take that. We're fine.
All right, 35 past the hour. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
If you're tired of trading one dead-end job for another, trade your job for a career. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers has positions open right now. As an IBEW electrician, you'll get training, higher pay, paid health care, and retirement. Build a better life for you and your family. Make it happen. Call 402-810-0789 right now. That's 402-810-0789 or get details at IBEW22.org.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nebraska or Iowa attorneys. 13340 California Street, Suite 200, Omaha, Nebraska, 68154.
I know I need to pay attention to my health, but I just can't seem to find the time. Between rushing to work and taking care of the kids, there's not much time left over for me. So I decided to start small by eating more fruits and vegetables and being more active. And then I got the family to make some changes too. We started by keeping a bowl of fresh fruit on the counter, and I limit the amount of sweet snacks I keep in the house. I've also found some creative ways to add more vegetables to our meals. We're taking more walks, and on the weekend, head down to the pool at the rec center. It doesn't happen every day, but it does happen. You don't have to change your entire life to be healthier. Just make some simple changes and include your family. You'll see how easy and fun it can be.
You can make a difference. Eat smart, play hard. And when you do, your kids will too. A challenge from USDA.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture your favorite Blizzard treat, but this one is being held by someone very special. RE, our Children's Miracle Network Hospital's champion.
Hi!
Miracle Treat Day is Thursday, July 27th. $1 or more of each Blizzard treat sold at participating locations benefits your local children's hospital and kids like RE. So treat yourself in the most meaningful way.
Support kids like me on Miracle Treat Day, Thursday, July 27th.
DQ, happy tastes good.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here. Hope to see you at Golf Flash, the 6th straight year we've done so at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. Get signed up today by visiting miraclehillgolf.com. Prizes of at least $100 on every single hole. It's miraclehillgolf.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Hi, good Monday morning. You got to change the words to this song. X marks the spot. X going to give it to you. Elon gave it to you if you logged onto a Twitter this morning. It still works. It just, the bird has been replaced with the X. Bring back the bird. Not even the double bird. Just bring back the single bird.
Could say it's a double bird Monday, but we're in a good mood. No anger here.
And we were,
I don't think.
As we welcome back in, Nick at home, Jimmy and yours truly in studio. So there's part of the Open, which I don't think will do well in the ratings. Soccer on Friday night did really, really well. People in this country are consuming a lot of women's sports, and especially when it comes to the World Cup, it's red, white, and blue. Thought they'd be a little bit more dominating. Cost me a little money. Won't hold that against you. Just need to advance. And then you had Messi's debut, which seemed to be shared by everyone. A couple of other events this weekend, and I was at a live sporting event, Nick and Jimmy, but I was paying attention to stuff that was going on. Just didn't watch as much as the Open because there was no drama. It was like the 22 Masters, or even when Tiger won in 14 at Liverpool, and he just, he dominated. And what he did is he didn't put himself in harm's way. But did you guys know the Tour de France ended this weekend? Remember when that used to be kind of a deal in this country?
That used to go on.
Lance Armstrong, Floyd Landis, he was an underdog that actually in sports we liked. Remember, but the Tour de France, it was everywhere. It was an American was competing, and we loved him. Le Mans. Did you know that ended this weekend?
I didn't know it was still going on.
I knew it was going on because remember there was the stories of pretty much all of the gatherers, the patrons, the spectators that could not get out of the roadway and kept getting pelted and then knocking actual racers over. Like that's a thing.
I don't remember. Did we have a major pileup this year?
Yeah, I think we did. Thought we had
somebody tried to take a selfie with one of them, and
there were just people being idiots.
All right, so
they're not respecting the Tour de France like they should be.
We didn't have any goats in the middle of the road, and
I like
led to like a 40 bicycle pileup.
Yeah, I didn't hear about any, not any stray animals this time, but just really idiot fans.
Now, another thing that happened this weekend. It's not like we were chock full of sports this weekend, although the major sports leagues were not going on, and we're still, we're almost to football. Is Cooperstown happened this weekend? Mm-hmm. I would have forgotten about Cooperstown if it wasn't for Pat Hughes, the voice of the Cubs, going in, who his speech was splendid. And I absolutely adore Pat and Ron on the radio more than Boog and Jim on TV.
That's why we didn't hear Pat in the Open with the Cubs highlights there. People are wondering.
But Pat Hughes went into the broadcaster's wing. The Crime Dog and Scott Rowland went in. And did it seem outside of maybe St. Louis, Philadelphia, let's see, Tampa Bay, Toronto, McGriff even played with the Cubs.
Tom Amansky.
There was very little discussion about Cooperstown in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there was nothing on it. In fact, watching last night and this morning of some of your various sporting highlight shows, nothing that even made the A or B, maybe even the C block.
It's wild. Usually that is an event that is covered regardless of who is going in. In this case, just kind of came.
It used to be a big deal. It's a decent little class too. Yeah. At least I think.
Well, I mean, there's Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff. They're two guys that still to our age are recognizable. I mean, we saw them essentially play their entire career. Mm-hmm. But if you were not locked into the MLB network, you probably didn't know what went on this weekend until you saw like a column or something talking about, do the Philly fans still hate Scott Rowland? It's a weird sports weekend. Maybe it's just it falls that time where school is right around the corner, football is right around the corner, and it was let's take off this weekend.
Yeah. I could see that.
Get everything in now because we're running out of days where you can get away for a while and you can do those things because it's all coming. It's coming fast.
So I have now seen firsthand the phenomenon that is Caitlin Clark, and what's happening with Jordy Ball here. That's all I could think of when I was standing in this lengthy line at the Iowa Speedway on Saturday to get an autograph for a friend. You guys already know what her impact is. I mean, she's in the grocery stores in Nebraska. I was actually standing next to a guy who is a pharmacist at one of the Hy-Vees in Des Moines. That I said, he was kind of. We were talking about the celebrities that Hy-Vee has partnered with, and now they're starting to partner with Minnesota and the Minnesota Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, as they're making their way into Minnesota and Wisconsin with the Hy-Vee brand. And so we're talking about the impact of Caitlin Clark and how her cutout shows up in grocery stores that are outside of Omaha. You can make Omaha, Council Bluffs. There's a lot of Iowa fans, so you'd think that you'd be here. But when she starts showing up in Columbus and Grand Island, you know what the impact is. So this line. And she signed autographs for an hour underneath a tent with heavy security, I should add. Not pushy security, but she had if anybody wanted to, violate the take a picture with her rule, those security guards would be there to bump them aside. But guys, this line went forever. I bet it stretched. I bet there were at 10:30 Saturday morning, but there were 500 people in line.
Wow.
To get her autograph. Okay, so as you make your way towards the front, and it's people from all kinds of backgrounds. There's a lot of families. There's a lot of young girls. There's older gentlemen. Looks like college-age kids are standing in line for this. And when you get up there to get her autograph, she has pictures in an Iowa uniform, and she just signs them. But you cannot get you can't take a close picture of her. I don't know if you guys have ever encountered this when you've gone to get an autograph or a card show or anything like this. You couldn't move up to the table where she was at and take a picture. You had to stand back and take a picture. So my only picture I took of her, because I was trying to make a point to a couple of my friends, is her eyes were closed. So don't get at me for her. Can you look right here? But the line moved really, really quickly. And I got up there and she says hello. And she starts to sign, and I go, "Can you put Go Huskers on there?" and she smiled, and then I said, "What are you more likely to do, Go Huskers, or can you say Go Urbandale Jayhawks?" Because she went to West Des Moines Dowling, and they're a little bit of a rival. And she goes, "I would be more likely to write Go Jayhawks than Huskers. Can't do it." And I said, "Thank you, GBR."
And she's not going to specify which Jayhawks, but okay.
No. So there is a little bit of wagering going on in the state of Iowa where it is legal. You can't get this at the books, but it is very popular wager among Iowa fans. And you don't have to consume any of that vodka that they have out there, that Swarm vodka or that Swarm beer to get involved in this. Who will average more points in the upcoming season? Caitlin Clark or Iowa's offense?
I'm going to go with Caitlin.
Okay, yeah. So Caitlin Clark, her 3 years at Iowa, 26.6 points a game, 27 points, 27.8. Last year, Iowa's offense averaged 17.7. But over the 7 years that Brian Ferentz has been the offensive coordinator, and remember, when his dad speaks on Wednesday, there's going to be a lot of questions about his son and this offense, and is Cade McNamara going to save Brian's job? But 7 years as the OC at Iowa, Iowa's offense has averaged 26 points a game. So are you ready to play this game? Who will average more points this year, Caitlin Clark or Iowa's offense?
Caitlin won't be close.
I think you're banking on.
Seems like a runaway, right?
It does. I think you're banking on Caitlin Clark if you're taking the Iowa offense bet for her to have a down year, because are you really going to expect them to go above their average under Brian Ferentz? I mean, isn't that the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? So, yeah, you got to go with the Caitlin Clark bet on that one, unless you just don't like money.
Be like 28, 20.
And I like Cade McNamara. I do, but come on.
Yeah, won't be close. Caitlin might push 30.
It should be a prop. It should be a legal prop in the state of Iowa.
Hell, we should put it on the board.
But the more I experience the whole Caitlin Clark thing in person, and I've seen her play in person, but never where she's out of season and she's signing autographs. And we saw the same thing with Jordy Ball. And Papillion had a great deal on Friday where Jordy Ball and Peaches James, who are the two goats of that sport in this state, both went to the same high school and they named the streets after them, is when Jordy Ball was out at Warner Park. You saw the long line. Caitlin Clark, Iowa Speedway, long line. Two female athletes in a country, especially in college, where there is more investment in collegiate women's sports. The TV ratings are better. More people are talking about it. What male collegiate athlete in this state could draw the same kind of buzz?
Casey. That's about it.
And that to me would
where
be
you go to an event where you'd have a tent, you'd have a setup, signing autographs for free because that's both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them do that. You sign autographs for free, and a male collegiate athlete in this state would draw a line of 500 people before you ever sat down.
I don't think we have one. I don't think we have one.
Is
Yeah, he's the only one I'll say.
Is Creighton's men's basketball core the closest to that?
Yes.
But one singular guy couldn't draw that kind of a crowd?
I would say Kalkbrenner would have a shot, but I don't think we have that male student athlete in this state that exists right now.
Yeah, I would just say Casey. He won't get 500, but he get a line of people who want to take a picture.
Well, so I bring this up as well because this upcoming Sunday is going to be Fan Day in Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it is the starting quarterback table that draws the biggest line right behind the head football coach, regardless of who it is. Who's going to be that guy next week? I mean, are people, if we had the running of the Gumps in Lincoln, like they do in Tuscaloosa for their fan day, where everybody's lined up at the gates, and then once they open up the gates, you see these people that have, head to toe in Alabama gear that are sprinting down the field, and it's just it's a race to get to the spot that you want to get in front of Will Anderson or a Bryce Young. We don't have that kind of a setup here, even though it'd be fabulous. The running,
one day,
the running of the Husker Gumps is who would draw that on this current team, a significant line of people.
Can I say Matt Rule? Because that's about it.
Well, yeah, Matt. So the head football coach is always the given, and they control that a little bit more.
Yeah,
right.
they got the little lottery thing going on there.
I also remember this year they moved it, so it's in the championship center. For weather purposes primarily. It might be 105 degrees, or it might be raining, and they don't want to have to impact the event because they're going to do it one time and then they're off to begin preseason camp. It may be just a female thing. I mean, look at Nebraska volleyball players. When they go anywhere, when they do signings, they have these lengthy lines. And it's not just their fan base or every little girl in the state of Nebraska. It is everyday average Joe and Jane that are standing there. I mean, is there a male athlete that has that kind of an impact that lives in this state? Or is this a women's sports phenomenon that locally we have some mega stars that draw the kind of attention and autograph seekers and people that just want to meet them?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think phenomenon is the key there, because I think the way that they have promoted some of these female star athletes that have just done, not just excelled at their sport, but have done it at a record level, that it's rare. But I think there has been a better job of making that front and center as well. So you got sort of the perfect storm there, where you've got these very rare, exceptional female athletes that are being promoted the right way. They have a solid brand. And we're looking at the way that maybe female sports here recently has been put front and center a lot more so than it was, 5 years ago. So you have the best of the best in sports that are actually being promoted, I think, in a very positive way. Back to Nebraska, though, let's say, and we talked about this a while back as far as Jeff Sims, just kind of behind the scenes, doing the work, getting ready for the season. He's not active on social media. There's not a lot of buzz about, hey, I saw Jeff Sims here, or I saw Jeff Sims there. Other than the NIL deal with Akers and John Deere, there really hasn't been a lot of sort of off the field presence with Jeff Sims, and that's fine. But as we're talking about for this particular conversation. Let's say Jeff Sims was more active on social media, or if you just heard a lot about the things that he was doing and has like this just sort of larger than life personality, it would only probably take a couple of months before I think locally a lot of the fans would really flock to him, given the position, given what usually the quarterback means in college football, but especially here at this university's football program. If he was a little bit more out in front of it, he'd have a shot, because any Nebraska quarterback that has that type of presence and personality is always going to have a shot of getting that type of following. But to his credit, he's just sort of been under the radar, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but I don't think this football team has that player that exists right now where you would get this mass draw right out of the gate of, oh, I got to go see him. Oh, I got to go see Luke Reimer. Like, it's just, that doesn't exist with this team right now.
All right, there's Nick. He's in his home studio. Nick, Jimmy, and yours truly are in the home studio in the mothership. A little bit later, Amy Just will join us. She'll be in Indianapolis this week. It is not only Big Ten Media Days, but it also is now officially Bud Crawford, Errol Spence week, as that fight will commence on Saturday night in Vegas. We will talk about that, of course, all week long. As the hometown guy, rare you get two top 5 pound-for-pound dudes in the ring. I mean, this is an amazing feat that we have gotten to the finish line coming up on Saturday night. So there'll be a lot of Bud Crawford chatter throughout the week here on the Zone. Also, Jacob Bigelow and Joel Lorenzi will all stop by on a Monday edition to kick off your week right here on 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. There's no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown eastbound along I-80 near 126th Street. On Dodge, be prepared for just a little bit of a delay from 94th to 90th. And other than that, it looks like your commute this morning should be pretty smooth, even if you're running a bit late. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Everyone knows Saul's pays top dollar for your gold, but Saul's pays cash on the spot for your precious metals too. Silver, gold, platinum, coins, bars. Who wants to wait to get paid? Get to Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Saul's Jewelry and Loan. You'll find it all at Saul's Jewelry.
No better time than now to focus on your garden or landscape. Come shop Lanahaw's Garden Center, filled with the area's best quality plants, flowers, and trees. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
United Way of the Midlands is celebrating 100 years of helping others in the Omaha Council Bluffs Metro. Since 1923, United Way has been creating a circle of support to help our neighbors in need overcome challenges and build a brighter future. Through funded programs and direct services, United Way helps meet families' essential needs, such as healthy food, safe and stable housing, healthcare, and more. If you'd like more information on how to get involved and support United Way, go to unitedwaymidlands.org.
The Omaha Farmers Market is celebrating 30 years of farm fresh, locally grown produce, May 6th through October 15th. Open rain or shine in the Old Market every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and in Exarban Village every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. To keep up with what's in season, visit omahafarmersmarket.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Presented by Methodist Health System with media sponsors KETV Channel 7 and Sweet 98.5.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's hot outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink icy cold, Nebraska-brewed beer, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer Friday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
Happy birthday to us. That's right. We're turning 50 this year, and we're celebrating with you. Introducing my new birthday cake streusel, topped with vanilla cake and crunchy streusel, a swirl of white icing, and showered with rainbow sprinkles. Paired with our classic combo, the one that started it all, and your favorite one-topping pizza. Happy birthday feast. Enjoy one today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Tired of having a website that doesn't reflect the quality of your brand? At JM Online, we specialize in custom websites for unique business needs. Your website should be more than just a digital billboard. It should be a powerful tool that grows your business. Awarded Omaha's best web developers in 2023, we're dedicated to local business success. So if you're ready to take your website to the next level, go to jmonline.com and request a call.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
All right, X marks the spot on Twitter. This show, Bruin Steve, July 24th, off this Monday. I must have been, you know what? Let's just mess things up because Bruin Steve said my company did a system migration over the weekend. Not a great morning. Terry just let me know that if you are using Cox email, they have a new email face today on how it looks. Twitter is now X. The bird is gone. DMX is there. Actually, if you play your cards right when you log into Twitter, that song will play today. Hopefully. Wouldn't that be?
You know how many people are doing that right now?
Hey, people hate Elon, but if they logged on and all of a sudden DMX, that song started playing,
I'm warming up to this Elon guy.
Welcome to a Monday.
Yep. So remember when Nebraska was toying with the rotating tunnel walk songs? So that you would have a different lead up, or I'm sorry, it'd still be serious, but then they would come out to a different song during. I think that was the first year of Frost.
Yeah, it was.
I gotta say, I was a fan of X Gonna Give It To You. I was kind of hoping that would stick. That was a banger to come out to take the field with. I thought it was good.
Again, it'll always be the Staples Center to me.
Yep.
Did anybody? I guess maybe I didn't pay as close attention this year when the Lakers were playing. That they referred to it as it's the
crypto.com arena. Yeah, no, thank you.
Always will be the Staples Center.
I have friends that still refer to CHI Health Center as the Quest Center.
I still think it is.
I got one friend that still calls it the Quest Center. I love it. I think it's hilarious because he refuses. He didn't even go to the CenturyLink. Like, he just calls it the Quest Center. I love that he still refers to it that way. I know most people feel like we're adaptable here in Omaha. We usually call it, we keep up to date with its sponsor change, but people still refer to it as Quest Center.
All right, so enjoy your moment on social media today. The thing still works.
Yeah.
Threads is down 70% of its daily users. Twitter may have won here, but they've lost. We need to bring back the bird. You know what will happen? Somebody will create a new platform today that will bring back the bird.
Still room for pretzel.
And all it'll be is bird is the word.
Yeah.
Hey, join me tonight over on Bird is the Word. Welcome to America.
You on the bird? Yep.
A little bit later, Amy Justice will join us. Jacob Bigelow, Joel Lorenzi, welcome back again. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. We'll talk a little bit more about the U.S. or the Open that was won by Brian Harman. He showed that 5'6", 5'7", balding guys that can putt well and don't bomb it have a chance to win a major. Kind of what Tiger did a little bit of don't put yourself in harm's way. Brian Harman played 80s golf. I just don't like golf in the 80s. I wasn't even playing golf in the 80s. But that's kind of his approach that allowed him to win by 5+ shots basically all weekend. I'm just not a fan of 80s golf.
You seen everybody in the 80s waggle a lot?
Well, not necessarily the waggle, because they probably waggled, and we probably twerked. Your mom and dad, my mom and dad, Jimmy's mom and dad, everybody's mom and dad, They were probably twerking before twerking became a thing.
Maybe.
And then probably golfers were waggling before waggling became a thing. Well, wait a minute, who am I kidding? Those golfers that were like, get off my lawn people back then. No, there was no, we're going to play golf and we're not going to take forever.
Yeah.
Patrick Cantlay will come along some other time, but in the 80s, we're going to play golf like it should be played. Who am I kidding?
Cut out that celebrating. Act like you've been there before.
Is this a short thing too? I mean, he's 5'7". If the 6'8" guy won, would we be more excited today?
Yeah, because to see a 6'8" waggle, and I don't know how many I don't know how many 6'8" you've seen waggle in your lifetime.
No, I haven't seen a lot. No.
I mean, there's a lot to be waggling there. That's what she said. All right, let's get
hanging fruit.
Let's get an update with Jimmy. We will discuss with Big Ten Media Days later this week, and the radio station will be in Indianapolis. There's the Northwestern factor, and then kind of going off what Amy just wrote about the Matt Rule opening statement. Deal or no deal? We'll dive into that as we roll till 10. But first, here's Jimmy with our first update of the morning.
Yeah, Nebraska ball embarks on its foreign tour this week as they depart for Spain on Friday. The team will visit Madrid, Valencia, and Barcelona on the trip and play once in each city against local teams. Nebraska will play in Madrid on the 30th, so that's a week from, yesterday. Valencia on August 2nd, Barcelona August 5th. They'll also do all kinds of fun stuff. It's usually an educational experience and good bonding and all that, and eat local cuisine. Currently, the games are not scheduled to be streamed, but fans can check the Husker social media channels and whatnot website for updates. In just under 2 weeks, Creighton men's basketball will take their international trip. They get to go to the Bahamas, work on their tan, where it will play 3 games, though those games will be indoors. Each contest will be held inside the Imperial Ballroom of the Atlantis Resort. That's where they play the Battle for Atlantis event each November. Each contest, this is the most interesting part of it. Each contest will abide by FIBA rules, which means there will be a different ball, 4 quarters that are 10 minutes in length, a shorter shot clock, a longer 3-point line, and the ability to goaltend the ball after it hits and rim, among other changes from what the NCAA uses. Each game will actually have a webcast, a video webcast provided by Flow Hoops, and feature announcers to accompany an elevated 1-camera feed from midcourt. Good that that's going to feature announcers. In the NFL, several star NFL running backs took part in a Zoom call Saturday to discuss the depressed market for players at their position. Cleveland Browns running back Nick Chubb confirmed on Sunday he participated in the call and said Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Christian McCaffrey also were in the meeting. Josh Jacobs also took part. According to ProFootballTalk.com, the meeting was organized by the Chargers' Austin Eckler, who has been outspoken about the NFL and running backs not being paid their true worth. The source said that the running backs kicked around ideas during the call, but no major plans emerged from the meeting. That's usually what happens. Some stuff going on down in St. Joe. Training camp for the Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney got off to an ominous start yesterday when he left the field prior to the start of the first practice because of a knee injury. Coach Andy Reid, after practice, said Toney injured the knee while returning a punt before some of his teammates had even arrived on the field. Reid described the injury as a tweak, normally his term for a minor ailment, but Toney left the practice field, something usually reserved for more serious injuries, and the Chiefs continued without him. The Chiefs have rebuilt their wide receiving group the past couple seasons after trading Tyreek Hill and losing Juju Smith-Schuster in free agency. Toney had been a centerpiece of that. The Chiefs last year traded a couple of draft picks to Toney, a first-round pick by the Giants in 2021. Defensive tackle Chris Jones did not report for the start of Chiefs training camp, and the sides are far apart on reaching an agreement on a new contract. Jones has 1 year left on the 4-year, $80 million contract that he signed in 2020, which made him the 9th highest paid defensive tackle in the league in terms of average salary. Andy Reid said Sunday that he was surprised by Jones's absence, but emphasized that the defending Super Bowl champions will just keep moving without him. He just don't want to do training camp. I don't blame him.
We'd be fine.
Yeah.
We'd be fine.
They'll come to an agreement.
We're okay. It's only July 24th. The season does not begin until September. We good.
Yeah.
Look at Dalvin Cook. So everybody expected Dalvin Cook to sign by now. Dalvin Cook actually he's kind of betting on himself. He's playing the field. Let a couple of injuries happen. The urgency comes calling and maybe gets paid a little bit more. But what do you think the Zoom call was like? How was that organized? It's just a bunch of people having trouble zooming in. And they're like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, your mic is muted. Hey, Derek, your mic is muted. You got to fix that. Hey, Saquon, where are you at? You just went, your screen went dark.
What's their background?
Well, and I know what Austin Eckler, he organized this whole thing, but so was he Did he have an agenda? Did they go like, your typical Zoom meeting, like your corporate Zoom
PowerPoint?
meeting? Yeah, were they PowerPoint this?
sharing?
Or was this like Festivus? Was this just the airing of grievances where they couldn't? Because, what are they going to do other than, all right, well, we'll miss some. Were any of them saying, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about missing the regular season. Because I know that that's been talked about. I know Saquon Barkley said he might have to do that. But look, those are negotiation tactics. I understand that they can't do anything right now because the deadline is passed. But uh, the fact that that whole story is like, yeah, nothing really came out of it. Well, what was going to come out of it? Are they going to create policy out of this thing? Like, I get it. Like for the running backs, it's a crappy situation. It really is. And the point being that you could have the most highly productive season of your career, and that's actually going to depreciate your value. That's not right. But I mean, this whole running back Zoom call, like state of the union running back Zoom call that they had, what was really going to come out of it other than a bunch? It was like a support group, which is fine, but it wasn't newsworthy.
It wasn't newsworthy, no, because I don't think anything's going to, you're right, nothing's going to come of it. And nothing's going to come of it during probably maybe our lifetime in football. I can't think of another position where it has been more devalued by the game than running back. Last great running back we had was probably Adrian Peterson.
Yeah,
now,
I'd go with that.
And go, I continue to say this, Roger Craig was so ahead of his time to be a 3-down back. But here's what the future of that position looks like. If you are, let's say you're in high school, let's say you're in college, and there have been a lot of running backs in college that have had their careers really upended because of a major injury in college that you thought, man, they could be that dude in the NFL. But if there is no incentive financially at the end of the road in your football career, when you make it to the NFL playing that position, are you going to, when you're playing Pop Warner football, think about playing running back? Or are you going to start to think about playing wide receiver? Yep. Some of the other skill positions that are getting paid and getting paid quite well. I mean, wide receivers are doing well. It's just the running back position for that second contract is just not there.
The game's changed.
And then the game is, and you're right, Jimmy, the game has changed from the standpoint of how we call the game and we get to the end goal, which is winning. And running the football down after down after down in the pro game. Now, there's still a place for it in college, but in the pro game, just is not there. And don't you guys also feel that if you're a general manager or an owner with your head coach and you commit a lot of resources to the running back position, then you must use them. If it is not in your DNA to have a running back as a primary focus in your offense, but your front office just dropped a lot of coin on that running back's table, don't you feel an obligation that you've got to use the running back, even if that goes completely against your philosophy as a play caller?
Right. And how many of those running backs where you feel you can use them, as you talked about the 3-down backs, how many of those guys exist at the level that you want to pay them what a lot of them feel like they should be paid? And I think to even go a step further, I think a lot of us feel like they should get paid. Like you think of certain running backs, and a lot of those guys that are noted on that call yesterday are fantastic at what they do. But when you're talking about the workhorse and the type of running backs that we coveted, back in the 80s, back in the 90s, it's such a tough position for them to be in. But I think it's a fair point to bring up what an organization has to weigh in when they're going to pay somebody the type of money that the market would say you're worth, and always trying to reset that market. It's not like that market's going to come back down. It's always going to go up. So you're always going to be reset. And someone's going to get the one big deal. And then so the next guy that's up for free agency that has a similar skill set is going to reset that market. It's not like that comes down significantly. So I continue to look, and I'm glad you brought up the high school element of it too, because growing up playing high school football, the people that I was in awe of the most wasn't the quarterbacks all the time. Now, that was still during the era that we were going up against Eric Crouch. Yeah. He was rare, but he was a running back. Eric Crouch, he was an option quarterback. So he was essentially in the Fred Petito offense, another running back. The running backs were the ones we were all in awe of. The running backs were the guys that were really moving a team's success rate. It wasn't necessarily the quarterbacks, because that wasn't an era where the quarterbacks were able to throw the ball, maybe 25, 30 times a game. You had running backs that were carrying it 25 or 30 times a game, and they were busting games wide open. So when you got your scouting report, the first thing you looked at was who was the running back, what they'd been doing, and how do you stop them. And so things obviously from an offensive standpoint have changed so much. But I do wonder, when you have that dominant running back that is at a high level in high school, at what point are they thinking about, do I want to switch over to quarterback? Do I want to switch over to wide receiver? Because if that is a legitimate career path for you to use your abilities to play at the next level, you're going to think about that at some point as you get to a certain age. And I'm curious where high school running backs are right now, because college, things are, it's getting more and more as a business every day.
Well,
so freshman running backs are already probably knowing that when they get into college. But at what point are high school running backs having this conversation?
Well, when will we hear the first story? I'm going to go back to Pop Warner football. So the game has changed and the pay scale has changed as well. We have seen, and I'll make my way to this from the pro perspective. The game has changed in the NFL where you want the ball in the hands of the quarterback as much as possible.
Right.
And that used not to be the way, even going back a decade ago. But when will be the first time we will hear mom, when she's observing her son playing Pop Warner football, and he's a great running back, and he is the story of this city, and people are like, man, you got to go watch this sixth grader play, that mom goes, hey, I need him to be moved to the slot. Okay, I can't have him playing running back because it's not going to be our best financial decision in about 13 years.
It's coming.
Okay. I kind of say that tongue in cheek, but think about it.
You're not wrong.
If you are a young football player and you believe that you have a chance to play pro football, but you are a running back, but you would also like to get paid, isn't it in your best financial interest to either be able to perform as a 3-down back where you can catch the ball and run the ball, but also maybe move to another position? Now, back to how the game has changed. There is a stat out there that was shared last week when this really came to the forefront about running backs and Barkley and Jacobs and Pollard and, not being paid, and, get Barkley and Jacobs that are out. There was a stat that was shared that I want to debunk a little bit, because you have to go inside of this stat that was given, that only 3 running backs in the last 20 years on Super Bowl teams have been Pro Bowlers. Corey Dillon, Ray Rice, Marshawn Lynch. So Lynch is the last one, and now that is a decade ago. I think that is a misleading stat that is out there. Because if I'm building a roster, remember, the game has changed. It's no longer 3 yards in a cloud of dust in the NFL. It's no longer, hey, running back, give me yards on first and second, and then we're going to have our quarterback on third down show up. No, it's quarterback first down, second down, third down. Let's do it all over again. First down, second down, third down. You pay your quarterbacks a lot of money. You want the ball in their hands.
We throw the ball first and goal at the one.
I just won a Super Bowl with my team. My quarterback makes a lot of money. My running back was a 7th-round pick out of Rutgers.
That's who I thought
Pacheco.
of.
Okay, so I'm going to pay my quarterback more money and then build from there. I'm not going to pay my running back a ton of money, but I'm going to pay my really, really good quarterback a lot of the coin, and then we'll figure out the running back position. That's what's happened in the game.
They're interchangeable.
Pro football is I'm paying my guy that's, throwing the football. And also, guys, here's another thing. Keep the ball in the hands of the quarterback as much as possible. And isn't in Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Buffalo, the quarterback essentially doing the same thing that the running back is doing?
Yep.
Yeah. And that was, remember, if you were a college quarterback that was either a dual threat guy or running quarterback, there was really no place for you in the NFL unless you wanted to convert over to wide receiver or play running back, maybe even defensive back. There just wasn't that demand for it because the inability to throw the football at a necessary level that it took to survive and to succeed in the NFL. Now, the way that the dual threat quarterback is coveted, it doesn't even mean they're going to run the ball 40 times. But if there is a game plan that consists of them having to tuck the ball 15 to 20 times and be another weapon out of the backfield, that is celebrated now. That's the way offenses are working. So it does. That's part of the problem. And, I mentioned there's no real news that comes out of that Zoom call other than the fact that it's odd for the first time we are seeing a position group that is essentially finding support amongst one another, aligning to try to create some type of change. But the fact remains, I don't know what type of change can really exist because that position as interchangeable as it is. And that doesn't take away from guys like McCaffrey and guys like Saquon Barkley and that can do special things running the football. But to your point, Gary, you've got a quarterback now, a breed of quarterbacks. It's not just one or two guys now. You've got an era of the quarterback position that the athleticism is so well versed that you can rely on those guys. And wouldn't we all agree too, if you're going to invest when it comes to helping your running game, you're going to start with your offensive line as well.
30 years ago, Emmitt Smith held out the first two games. They were defending Super Bowl champions, the Cowboys, and the offense kind of collapsed without him. The famous story is after they lost to Buffalo in week 2, Charles Haley took his helmet, threw it against the wall, and made a hole and yelled some expletives at Jerry Jones to sign him. That week, they signed Emmitt to a really expensive contract for that time. He was worth every penny because he had that game against the Giants at the end of the season, separated his shoulder, was NFL MVP, Super Bowl MVP. Today, he would not get that because the game would be played differently. The quarterback, is it like you're saying, is that's where they'd start. And you talk about kids and playing a different position. Well, think of, you talk about the Chiefs, guys like Travis Kelce, how they they revolutionized the tight end position because they can do so many different things. So there's just so many different ways to move the ball now that the running backs are interchangeable. And that's what I thought about was Pacheco. They draft him and he comes up big.
So the game has changed. And most teams have a system of fewer running backs, less money, running back by committee.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Chiefs. Look at the Eagles. Yep. Those two teams that played in the Super Bowl, essentially they were running back by committee. The Patriots and the Rams over the last 6 years, they have won Super Bowls or made it to the Super Bowl where it is running back by committee. TC writes into the Equitable Bank inbox, as the NFL transitions to 7-on-7, the game has changed. Yes, the 7-on-7 is taking over. Deebo Samuel, for example. If they could take a real wide receiver and put them in the backfield, why should I pay top dollar? He mentions Pacheco with the Chiefs, 7th rounder. What are they paying him? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 1st rounder, his days are numbered.
Mm-hmm.
The running back is going the way of the dinosaur, sort of. It's scary. Here's another thing, guys. There are the names that Jimmy mentioned that were on this Zoom call. They're some of the most notable guys in the NFL. Do you know how many running backs in the past year have been in that top 10 list for jersey sales?
I'd say maybe a couple.
I was going to say 2 at least.
I'd say Barkley and Henry.
Zero.
No,
wow, I would have thought Saquon and McCaffrey.
Last year, during the course of the season, in the top 10 jersey sales in the NFL, there was not a single running back.
Wow. Yeah, I would have thought Saquon and McCaffrey would have a shot at that.
McCaffrey would have been a good one. Yeah.
Now, with this part of this discussion here, it should not sound like we're bagging on Henry or Barkley or Eckler. They are all
not at all.
They're the rarities. There are the guys that have come into the league and in their first contract they have dominated. But remember, we have an Ezekiel Elliott that is still looking for a job. Yeah. We have a Dalvin Cook that is still looking for a job. There's a small part of the running back world where you will pay those guys, but that second contract, I don't know. In Tennessee, they just acquired DeAndre Hopkins. Would you rather pay a high-profile quarterback maybe 22 to 25% of your cap, or pay Derrick Henry that kind of money? It shows that pay the quarterback.
Yeah.
Go running back by committee.
The 2 teams in the Super Bowl last year, that would be the template and the modern day template. And with the running back, how are we using them? We're no longer just pounding the ball. We're throwing it to them. We're getting them out in space. We're spreading the field, and it all starts with the quarterback.
Hey, there were 5, and again, let's don't mix college and pro. The pro game is different.
Yeah.
Okay. There is always going to be a place for the running back in the college game, but that running back has got to be a 3-down back.
Yes.
You know what? Gabe Irvin, you think he's a 3-down back? Anthony Grant, do you think he's a 3-down back? Kwan Lacey, I think in this class of 24 for Nebraska, is a 3-down back. Go back to the quarterbacks and running the football. So I said Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts. Why would you pay a big-time running back when really you've got a dual threat option that can run and throw the ball that is your quarterback? There were 5 quarterbacks in the NFL last year that rushed for over 700 yards. It's not just Michael Vick.
That'll grow.
It's not just Michael Vick is the guy that runs around as a quarterback to pick up yards, and everybody else is that pocket passer. The game has changed, and unfortunately, the running backs and that position has been moved to the side because it's not first and second down. We're going to run the ball. Third down, we'll throw it. It's we'll pass, mix in a run, might even be a designed quarterback run.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Gary, the counter to that, way of thinking, which I think is also easy to counter, is people would say, well, they are going to put in a elite type running back to take a lot of the wear and tear off the quarterback. So he is not a liability every week getting injured. Well, then you look at that for 2 reasons. Okay, if that's the case, A, why would you pay top dollar for a running back that's just going to come in and take a little bit of the workload off of that quarterback? Or B, if you want to do that, then what type of game is your quarterback going to be left with? You're taking a huge element of what makes maybe a Lamar Jackson or a Jalen Hurts special. You're taking that out of the equation. So again, I understand where the pushback is when it comes to from the running back side of it of, well, why would you want your quarterback to absorb all those hits when you can bring in a great running back? You can bring in a running back to do that, but do you need to get the very best? Do you need to pay top dollar for that particular running back?
Yep. You can make the argument that, selecting Henry and Eckler high is a smart approach, but teams are winning the Super Bowl with a running back by committee and paying your quarterback.
And at the end of the day, that's how everyone's going to look at it.
Yep. All right, 25 past the hour. At about an hour, Amy Just will drop by. She wrote a piece on the Big Ten Media Days, which begin on Wednesday, and talked about the opening statement. For some reason, I say it a little bit sarcastically, that became a thing this week last year. But is it really a thing on opening statements by coaches? We'll discuss because Matt Rule probably will be preacher mode on Thursday at 11 o'clock on this radio station.
That's what I look forward to.
26 past the hour. There's Jimmy. I'm Gary. Nick is at home taking care of a little one that is fighting it today. To start your week like that, Nick?
Uh-huh.
Man, Reese has got to have better timing.
I know.
I gave you a medicinal cure for him yesterday.
Yeah, we're doing the honey, and then we thought maybe the whiskey would be a thing, but I don't know. The Jack.
I had an athletic trainer tell me whiskey kills everything.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that bad parenting if we go ahead and start funneling that down his throat? I don't know. Probably not great, but
You get that tolerance started
as
early.
long as you don't tell anybody and don't let him drive, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. And he did start a new daycare last week. I think maybe he didn't like the first week of it, and he's trying to pull a little hooky. Maybe I don't know. He's developing the croup cough. He can do that on command now.
Forgot that he started a new daycare. Now you're going to get the side eye from the teachers and the parents. They're like,
oh, great. We got the germaphobe kid in here. Great.
We're back with more Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Monday night, you get great specials over at DJ's Dugout. 25% off all burgers, and I'm talking about their all Angus beef burgers. They are delicious. And with all of those, you got the State Legion tournaments taking place and all those seasons wrapping up. Great place to celebrate your team's success is DJ's Dugout with 7 area locations. There is one in your neighborhood, and they can accommodate parties any size. Don't forget also tonight, half off DJ's Sunny Ale. It is a delicious, perfect beer for the summer. Watch MLB and everything else on their amazing, huge media displays at DJ's Dugout. Locally in Vietnam, veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
If there's a snail crawling towards me inside of the Omaha NRG studio, it's not going to be any other snail. That's just the one snail.
But when Nick and I bring a bag full of snails and dump them at your feet.
I'm not working with you two yahoos
play 52
anymore.
snail pickup.
I'm not gonna work with you anymore.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Strong to severe thunderstorms possible this morning will move out by mid-morning, becoming partly cloudy for your afternoon and hot today. High of 95 in Omaha, but feeling like 102 this afternoon. Southerly wind gusts possible later today, up to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy and a bit warm, a low of 71. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
This hour is powered by Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair, Nebraska on 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report along North 96th at Dodge, so please be cautious if you're in that area. On Center, it looks like there's a little bit of slowdown near 168th, and on 204th, there's a minor delay between Harrison and Q Street. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Christmas in July greetings from Fernando's.
Feliz Navidad, y'all.
Right now, when you buy $100 in Fernando's gift cards, you'll get a $20 gift card for free. Offer ends July 31st at Fernando's. FernandosOmaha.com.
What's better than a great summer? How about a great summer sale at 42 degrees? Summer doesn't get any hotter than this. Get great products like Hidden Hills Delta disposables and carts for 25% off. Heat up the savings with Kratom priced at just $9.99. All with the friendliest, most knowledgeable, and professional staff trained to find the right products just for you. It may be hot outside, but it's a cool 42 degrees inside for the summer sale. By your mom's house.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Union Omaha, who will be at home 3 times over the next couple of weeks. This Saturday, the 29th versus South Georgia, August the 2nd versus Lexington Sporting Club, and then back at home again on August the 5th versus One Knox SC. And how about this for August the 2nd? It is $2 night. Berm tickets, domestic beers, hot dogs, nachos, Pepsi products as well. How do you buy tickets? Visit their website today, unionomaha.com.
We've all had this happen. Somebody says something about a thing, and then a couple of days later, you see an ad for that thing pop up on your newsfeed. Weird, right? Well, in an honest attempt at not being weird, Langfeld Overhead Doors would like you to remember them when you or your friends need a new garage door. You can trust the professionals at Langfeld Overhead Door to repair or replace your garage door. You can also trust them not to listen in on your conversations, because that's weird. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring today.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture your favorite Blizzard treat, but this one is being held by someone very special. RE, our Children's Miracle Network Hospital's champion.
Hi!
Miracle Treat Day is Thursday, July 27th. $1 or more of each Blizzard treat sold at participating locations benefits your local children's hospital and kids like Ari. So treat yourself in the most meaningful way.
Support kids like me on Miracle Treat Day, Thursday, July 27th.
DQ, happy tastes good.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, did you guys see Adam Sandler over the weekend doing what he likes to do, and that is playing pickup hoops?
I didn't see him doing it, but I know he likes playing pickup hoops and is master of the bank shot.
He has. Now, I saw a story about Adam Sandler playing pickup hoops. The only way I recognized him, first of all, he's got the baggy shorts, and he's got the XXL. Well, he's got the baggy shorts, and he's got the XXL shirt. That's his look. You have to look really close to figure him out, because you know why? I did not recognize him because Kevin James or Rob Schneider were not next to him.
There are certain people that you would probably never be able to spot out a lineup if they were not around who they're typically accompanied by, or in movies, because that's been Adam Sandler's world for like the last decade in movies.
I mean, it's good to be a friend of like Adam Sandler.
You always
He's
have a
going to take
job.
care of it. Yeah. You're going to end up in one of his movies. If he was a hang when you were young, then he keeps you around and you just do random pop-ups in movies, and that may be the only thing you do. But it's tough to recognize Adam Sandler if Kevin James or Rob Schneider are nowhere near him.
Are we at a point where we can now expect Dan Patrick making an appearance in most Adam Sandler movies too?
Yeah, he has moved definitely into the friend zone.
Yep.
Because Dan Patrick will have some cameos.
That's true.
And
He is a 4th or 5th starter now.
Sandler comes on his show a lot.
Yep. Yeah. I'm curious on how that relationship developed, and if there was a, hey, if you ever need somebody in a movie, I'd always be interested. And now does Adam Sandler feel obligated to do it, or does Adam Sandler like legitimately want Dan Patrick to make random appearances in movies, whether it's a lifeguard on a water slide, or he's one of the cops pulling Paul Crewe over in The Longest Yard?
I don't know. The dynamic there, I know he's just he's a huge sports fan, basketball fan as well. Is Alan Covert the number one in the power rankings of Adam Sandler friends?
Yes, probably.
I think he has been in every movie with Adam Sandler. Rob Schneider would be probably number 2.
Yep.
Then the wife of Adam Sandler, Jackie, shows up in a lot of his movies as well.
Yeah, I would.
Buscemi has to be in the top 5.
Yeah, Buscemi, and he kind of fell off. No, actually, I take that back. He was in a lot of the grown-up ones. He was not a big role in it, but
Okay, Alan Covert. I was making sure. I thought that's who it was. Oh yeah, he's his Game 7 starter.
yeah.
Without a doubt.
Well, and that's what was so weird about Grandma's Boy, is seeing Alan Covert without Adam Sandler. Like, so anytime I see Alan Covert doing something without Adam Sandler, it's completely like mind-boggling. So I'd probably put Alan Covert up there.
So if you see Alan Covert today, you have to do a double take to go, I don't remember that guy.
Is he hiding?
Well, but he looks like, when he shows up in his movies, he looks a lot different.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Sandler is out. Sandler is out hooping again. All right, a couple of tweets here about a conversation before the break about running backs and where their place in football. Iowa JD, who probably will take Caitlin Clark, more average points than the Iowa offense this year, says the running backs. He hasn't told me that, but I'm just going to guess that.
I did think of him when you brought that up, who he'd take.
I don't know who he likes more, Fran McCaffrey or Brian Ferentz.
I know he's not a Brian Ferentz or a Fran fan, so that could be a tough one there.
The running backs need to fight for rule changes. Instead of outlawing defense like the NFL does, they need to fight like hell for teams that play defense. Start with DBs who can hit wide receivers till the ball is in the air. They have to get rules back to the past. Iowa JD also adds, I enjoyed watching Slam Ball this weekend. Kyle chimes in. Tight end U was created to combat the same thing for tight ends. Every non-quarterback position is going to, or already has gone through, what running backs are going through. That's true. George Kittle has taken the lead of, we got to protect tight ends. And there's some tight ends that maybe should be paid more than the wide receivers that are on the roster, whether they be in Kansas City or in San Francisco.
That's what I think of.
The tight end position is on the come.
It is.
And I don't think it's going away because of where we are right now in the NFL. Running backs, I just don't see okay, we went through 15 years of running backs were not valued. We're back again. I just don't think the game of football is trending that way.
Yeah,
I don't either. I just think they're going to do different things.
Unless you are a top level Henry, Eckler, Barkley, Jacobs type running back, and you get one shot at it, you get paid in your first big contract, and then you're to the scrap heap. I mean, look at Ezekiel Elliott. Because
perfect example.
Jimmy, you're a Cowboy fan. Didn't you want Jerry to pay Ezekiel to keep him? Maybe not the amount of money, but you thought it was a wise move to keep Ezekiel Elliott in this current day and age of running back.
I did, but I didn't think that they should pay him what he was asking, because it's just different now. You needed to find a way to keep Tony Pollard. But then again, I mean, what do I know? He ended his Cowboys career as the center on the last play of the game. So, the running back's got to be versatile. That's not what I meant.
His actual true value.
the problem is the guys that we mentioned right there too they're the exception. And so if you get one of them paid, then your rank and file running backs that might have just sort of a breakout year, but there's still really no validity of if they can continue that, are also going to expect a similar amount. I mean, nothing changes when it comes to resetting the market, like we said earlier. And so it's this whole sort of sticky situation that I think running backs find themselves in. And it's just a position that is not as highly valued because I think the good example of that is the evolution of the tight end, where no longer are you just a guy that's, putting his fist in the ground and you're asked to block and maybe catch the occasional red zone touchdown. Like now you're a legitimate wide receiver threat. You are a quarterback's best friend. There is versatility. There is athleticism. There is a different role for a tight end now that is going to be much more highly valued. If you gave me the choice, if I was running an NFL organization, thank God I'm not, but if I were asked to put more money into the tight end compared to the running back, I would. If I had one of those now typical tight ends, it used to be rare. Remember when everybody lost their mind over Jimmy Graham? Like, oh my God, Jimmy Graham. This guy's a wide receiver. This guy's huge. And, he's not even really a tight end. Well, now those guys are so common. That's the tight end position now. But you can win with that.
We live in a state that produces tight ends.
Look at the nightmare cover that 87 is for the Chiefs. Nightmare down. I mean, you can do so many things with him.
But let's go down a couple of levels. So the third 8-man tight end in the state that has been given a D1 offer happened yesterday. This is a state that Cam Jurgens began as a tight end. Then they moved him down the line, eventually ending up as a center. And now he could be starting this year in Philadelphia in year 2 in the NFL as a guard. The jumbo wide receiver in high school, if you don't have that blazing speed, but you're still big enough and you have good speed and you have good hands, and you can be a versatile guy, that you can be a ferocious blocker, but also a guy that can get downfield and work the seams. I mean, those guys are becoming pretty prevalent around here.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to produce the offensive linemen, but look at the skill guys in the state of Nebraska that are being developed on the offensive side of the football. We went through the Sahara for a while where we're big-bodied here.
Yeah.
Now our big bodies can run 4.640s, and they're either playing wide receiver or you move them down and they play tight end. So I think the tight end position has really taken off. Now we'll see the first team that makes a major financial commitment to a tight end.
It's coming.
Major?
I mean, up there. It's coming at some point to where if it is that important of a piece to your team, you'll pay him.
No.
More likely than a running back.
Because you can say the guy in Kansas City and the guy in San Francisco are woefully underpaid.
Those are the two people I think of.
All right. Coming up on Wednesday and Thursday, Big Ten Media Days in Indianapolis. We will be there with wall-to-wall coverage. Nebraska's Day is on Thursday. And there is a lot of attention this time of the year in talking season towards opening statements. Every commissioner gives an opening statement, and then it gets sifted through. The commissioner of the Pac-12 the other day talking about expansion and TV deals and all of that stuff. But it's now Monday. He spoke on Friday. Do you guys remember much of what George said in Vegas on Friday?
Not much, no.
You remember much of what Greg Sankey said a week ago today in Nashville?
Other than the NIL Congress stuff, no.
Do you remember much of what Brett Yormark said 2 weeks ago in Dallas?
No, I just remember his tone.
Yeah. So
swagger.
And it might be just the timing. We want football so bad, and we're jonesing for it. And you have these media days where everybody is assembled. How many opening statements, whether it be from a commissioner or a coach, do you remember?
Usually
and if you do remember them, it's usually because it was a negative.
Right.
The only commissioner that I can think of that I remember his opening statement, and it's a big deal for these guys because that's kind of to set the tone for the 4 days or the 2 days or kind of the tone for the start of the season. It's Greg Sankey when they unveiled It Just Means More in the SEC. That's really the only commissioner opening statement that I remember.
I remember Dan Beebe's mock interview he did on there, and that was ridiculous.
But again,
for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons. Can you, Nick, think of any opening statement for the right reason that you go, I will always remember blank?
I can't.
We remember the quirky ones or the
yes.
What did he just say? Or did he not say anything?
He doesn't want to be there.
Was the Tim Beckman, the Oski one, was that part of the opening statement, or was that just a question?
Hey, I sat there, Nick, and I said, my man, what are you even saying?
Oh my God. It was the whole, like, the Billy Madison of, we are now, everyone in this room is now dumber for listening to that in your incoherent rambling. Did you never come close to anything that was a normal thought? Like it was just like, where is this coming from? And you almost felt like they needed like the Oscars, like your time's up music just to get them off the freaking stage because, but again, that wasn't a positive for Illinois. I'm sure they were thinking of, what's our guy doing here? Is he
Well, so
completely
it
lost
was, so this is what, 2015. You know how he'd always wish his mom a happy birthday? Because her birthday usually coincided with the Big Ten Media Days. Okay, so this is remembering this for the wrong reason. Like we remember Frost last year, didn't want to be there. It was very, very awkward. We were okay with Mike Leach not doing an opening statement, getting right to questions, because that's Mike Leach.
Yeah.
But when Tim Beckman, because it was on, and fill in the blanks here if I forget, because this is about 7-8 years ago. He's trying to describe the word Oski and how it figures into the title of the school's fight song.
Right.
So didn't he go with success equals the knowledge of being the K, the knowledge of being a student athlete? Now this is wild that I can remember this almost verbatim.
It's really good.
The K in Oski is the knowledge of being a great student athlete on and off the football field.
Mm-hmm.
So it was our success equals knowledge. And then he went, the E stands for effort.
What do you say? Second E.
Yeah, giving all out effort in everything you do each and every day. And then he goes, the last E stands for energy. Yeah. And you were like, okay, so our success, knowledge, effort, energy. They can put that on a t-shirt. I probably got to the finish line a lot better than Tim Beckman.
You did.
Beckman did that day. It was amazing. It was so uncomfortable that I looked at the person next to me and I said, my man, what is he even saying? They're in trouble. Because somebody call up my bookie and say we're gonna go down a notch on the win total for Illinois.
Just trust me.
Because my man that's running the football program, he had no idea what's going on.
Oh, he stormed that beach like Normandy, my man. It was.
And that's today. Bart Bielema is the head coach at Illinois.
So the only thing I couldn't remember is if it was part of his opening statement or if he was asked the question of Oski. Either way, it was Big Ten Media Day gold until you got to like the K, and then you just wanted it to stop. Because I remember he kind of had that really distinct way of talking. When he said E, it was like E. And then I remember him saying, and the second E. And just like it all just kind of, it just sat in your mind for like days of hearing Tim Beckman go through Oski. And I remember I, at the time, worked with the Illinois grad who was always a big, proud Illini. And anytime they got the better of Nebraska, he was always like kind of rubbing in our faces. I remember bumping into him in the hall after that. And I just said, dude, did you hear your guy talking about Oski? And he just shook his head. He goes, yeah, it's not going to be a good year. I mean, and it was, I think that pretty much was echoed by a lot of people in Illinois. Like, who the hell is our head coach?
It will be a little
much longer.
It will be a little refreshing from the Nebraska standpoint. I mean, because a guy has a really good opening statement doesn't mean you're going to win a division. Right. I mean, look at Harbaugh. Harbaugh is always awkward in these situations. Some coaches are pros at this. Nebraska finally has a pro in these settings because Preacher Matt will be on full display. And the room will eat it up, and they will, some of them for the first time will get to experience Matt Rule in those settings. And he is exceptionally good in delivering his message and delivering what the program is. So at 11 o'clock on Thursday morning, the state will be fully husked. Now we will have an hour before that. We will have Matt Rule right here on 1620, but you know what it's going to be like. He'll get up there and he will essentially say everything that we have gotten to know from him in 8 months. And the national media will go, oh my gosh, Nebraska got it right.
Yep.
Just because that's in his element. You can tell a good relationship builder if they walk into a setting where they don't know most of the people in front of them and can command a room. So he will do that. But let's don't go crazy and go, well, Nebraska is back. Now, Nebraska just has an adult who loves those settings and is a really good communicator and is a son of a preacher.
Just take it for what it is and enjoy.
But he'll be in the top 3 of the power rankings because that's what we do when we reach the limit of media days. We're like, man, who had the best opening statement?
Well,
Let's discuss.
Guys, let's not get ourselves on why Scott Frost's lack of words or opening statement was a big deal. I think to some degree but more than anything, I think the Big Ten national media was curious on Scott Frost entering a make it or break it type season and also in a new role where he's not calling the plays. And I think people wanted to see generally how he was just sort of handling that. What were his mannerisms? What was his tone? Because it's not like Scott Frost was ever, even like when things were great going into the 2018 Big Ten media days, it wasn't like he was this rah-rah, high energy type of guy. Scott has never been that type of guy. Very subdued when he communicates with the media. But that awkwardness, it just gave you a glimpse of a guy who is not comfortable in his new role, who is not comfortable in entering the season with so much on the line. It just looked like a guy who was completely lost. Like you said, he came across as a guy who did not want to be there. I think to an extent, Scott Frost almost looked like that every time he went to Big Ten media days. And I think there are some other coaches that have been far more successful than Scott Frost that kind of give off that vibe. But he just seemed like a guy that had this major identity crisis. And so I remember when we brought that up, talking about Scott Frost with this lack, or not having an opening statement and just kind of lack of content, there were a lot of fans that I think were still trying to believe that it was going to work with Scott Frost, saying, you guys are making a way bigger deal out of this than it needs to be. And maybe to an extent, some of us were, but I thought the impression that he gave off was not a guy that has much better things to do than to be here because he is in the lab. He's getting this thing right.
Well,
he came across as a guy that had an identity crisis.
So that's fair. And here you got it. Those kind of settings, we wanted more than he was ready to deliver. Even his opening statement when he was before his first year as a coach, when he went to Chicago, he really didn't say much. Now, he said a lot more in 18 than he did in 22 because he had 0 words in an opening statement and Mike Leach beat him by 7 words. The thing that was disappointing about last year, so you get that opportunity because those sound bites are kept and they are shared for many, many months, is it's to sell your program. Yep. The frustrating thing last year from people that cover him every day is he hadn't said much at all during the offseason. He made no statements last offseason. And so to get to that point, I think all of us that cover him or that program on a daily basis wanted something, okay? Wanted how it's gone since we last talked to you in spring. What's the transition been like? How is the relationship 3 or 4 more months down the road? And we got absolutely nothing. And I remember the reaction because we were on the air and kind of aghast is we had a caller say, well, he sounds like to me he's done talking and he's ready to go prove it. Yeah. Now, I could believe you, but I didn't believe that was his case when he was there, when he was standing there. So be prepared on Thursday to be fully husked. The guy that is now in charge of Nebraska football will be perfect in that setting, and he will bounce from table to table, and there will be a lot of sound bites that are shared because that's in his element. And also he's very wise because you should use those as a recruiting tool if you're a place like Nebraska. Michigan, Ohio State don't need that. But if you're a place like Nebraska and you're a brand new head coach, that is your opportunity to recruit because you never know who's watching, never know who's listening.
That's what I say. Just sit back and enjoy it. Be glad it's not like last year, not like the past, but keep it reeled in.
And also, let's keep some perspective on opening statements.
Exactly.
How many, we just went through, how many opening statements in the history of media days do you remember?
Right.
You won't remember. If it's good,
if we remember Matt Rules this time next year, that means something bad came out of it.
You'll just remember, oh, yeah, he was great. I don't remember what he said, but he was great.
Like he audibly farted while he was talking or something. We'll be like, hey, remember that? Like you don't want to remember the opening statement.
Well, that would be the Nebraska luck right there if we get that.
Well, that's just an example. I'm not saying it
still sounds great. But...
Hey, all I'm asking is I don't need to look at Connor and go, my man. What is he even saying?
Yep.
You see Connor crying. Stop. It's okay. It's good.
If he starts,
it was gonna work.
If he starts defining the one of us and he goes through every concept of it, then
You'll be looking. What time's Oppenheimer start at that IMAX?
Plug, man. Pull the plug.
All right. Amy Just will join us coming up in the next hour. Jacob Bigelow, Joel Lorenzi. We'll get Jacob's thoughts on the newest commitment, really out of the blue. It got an offer a little over a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago. And it just all of a sudden yesterday, guy commits to Nebraska. And everybody goes, okay, all right. Is it for 24, 25 or no?
It's for this class.
23, 24. Plus, Fred Hoiberg will meet the media today because they are going on their overseas trip. Red, Blue, and Black Nebraska all make foreign trips this offseason. So we'll talk to Jacob Bigelow and Joel Lorenzi, who will stop by coming up near the end of the show. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, guys, get out to Woodhouse Mazda. Check out their CUV lineup and their all-new CX-30 Carbon Edition today. And this is a crossover, comes loaded with great features such as red leather trim seats, Husker fans, heated black side mirror and black wheels, standard I-Active all-wheel drive. You even get 26 city and 33 highway miles per gallon. Enhanced performance with increased 191 horsepower. All of that you're going to feel in this great CUV, the Mazda CX-30 Carbon Edition. You can also stay connected to the vehicle, know what's going on with the vehicle if there's any diagnostic issues, and best yet, when we get in those colder months especially, you can remotely start your vehicle with your phone, no matter where you are, with the My Mazda app. The Mazda CX-30 Carbon Edition is now available at Woodhouse Mazda in Bellevue or Woodhouse Place Mazda off 144th and Giles Road. And you can shop right now during the Season of Discovery event. Get $500 rebate plus 2.9% APR for 36 months or 4.9% APR for 60 months. You can shop, finance, schedule a test drive, get your deal started, check vehicle availability, and more, all in the comfort of your own home by going to WoodhouseMazda.com or WoodhousePlaceMazda.com. Woodhouse Mazda, a drive worth experiencing with approved credit, tax, title, license section. When financed with Mazda Financial, $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 7/31/23. See dealer for details.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
No matter how dark it gets, there's always a sunrise, a warm bed, a warm meal, and hope. Sienna Francis House serves hope to those experiencing homelessness and addiction. Every day, we provide more than 1,000 meals and serve nearly 500 guests in our emergency shelter, Miracles Recovery Program, and supportive housing apartments, and help our guests navigate a path to permanent housing. Learn more at siennafrancis.org.
Now is the perfect time for Hello Garage to turn your dream garage into a reality. Book a Hello Garage floor coating or storage installation by Labor Day, and you'll save 50% on labor. That's right, save 50% on labor before Labor Day. At Hello Garage, we've created clean, organized spaces for thousands of happy homeowners, and we can do it for you, too. Visit HelloGarage.com today to lock in your savings. That's HelloGarage.com.
Hello Garage. Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. It is July, which means the countdown is on for the 6th annual 4-person Golf Flash Scramble. Go to their website today, miraclehillgolf.com/store, and get signed up. You do not want to miss it. Coming up Friday, August the 4th, it'll be a one-beer Friday, 12 o'clock shotgun start, only $320 per team. Again, sign up today at that website, miraclehillgolf.com.
Hey folks, is your concrete in need of repair? Kent Pavelka here to talk about your local concrete experts and a Best of Omaha winner, Everlevel Concrete Repair. They can completely restore and repair your concrete at a fraction of the price compared to replacement and offer long-term transferable warranties. I'm so glad I chose Everlevel for my driveway. There's a reason they're a Best of Omaha winner. Give them a call for your free inspection. That's Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Happy birthday to us. That's right. We're turning 50 this year, and we're celebrating with you. Introducing my new birthday cake streusel, topped with vanilla cake and crunchy streusel, a swirl of white icing, and showered with rainbow sprinkles. Paired with our classic combo, the one that started it all, and your favorite one-topping pizza. Happy birthday feast. Enjoy one today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack.
You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, here's how they kicked it off last year when the commissioner introduces everybody. Kevin Warren said, "I'm excited to welcome our first coach to the podium. Scott Frost was an incredible quarterback and student athlete in Nebraska and had a major impact as a player and is doing a great job as a coach. He's a key supporter of Tom Osborne's mentoring program, which is changing the lives of young people in the state of Nebraska. I'm excited to see Coach Frost play against Northwestern in Dublin here in probably just about 30 days. It's been an honor and a pleasure to work with him, and I'm looking forward to Nebraska having a great season this year." So let's welcome to the podium head coach Scott Frost. Then it was awkward silence, and we went straight into questions.
Like, "Hi guys, I'm Scott."
Didn't he have sort of it was an awkward, like almost smirk of, what am I supposed to do? Do I just go right? Like, I just remember it was almost like he didn't know what to do. It's just
we won't have to worry about the filibuster like at Eli Drinkwitz or a Kirby Smart filibuster. That's coming up on Wednesday and Thursday. The Zone will be in Indianapolis. 2 more hours to go. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, you could be right now at Woodhouse Buick GMC. Like right now. Because they've got great deals right now through the end of the month. You don't want to miss them. You're looking for that favorite passenger vehicle, maybe a little stylish SUV or a capable truck. You can find it right now at 119th and I, where you can shop indoors in all kinds of weather. You know, it's going to be really warm here in Omaha. So don't worry about sweating outside while you're looking for a vehicle. You can go inside. It's nice and air conditioned. They have snacks. And they have fantastic customer service. Their dedicated sales team will help you find the vehicle that is right for you, because Woodhouse Buick GMC, they simply have something for everyone. Yes, regardless of what size of vehicle you want. And right now, they've got great deals off MSRP on the 23 GMC Sierra 1500. What about the GMC Acadia, the 23 model? Yes, you can save off MSRP, or a fantastic lease right now on the 23 Buick Encore GX. You can get it for just $299 a month. It's the end of the month. These will expire. You can't beat these deals right now. So check them out. See dealer for details. You can see them in person or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com, where they've streamlined the entire process. They make it easy on you. They don't want you spending your whole day going, okay, what vehicle do I want? I got to go here. Nope. They make it easy on you. They want to keep you as a member of the Woodhouse Auto family, or welcome you in. 119th and I, that large indoor showroom, or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report along North 96th at Dodge, so please be cautious if you're in that area. On Center, it looks like there's a little bit of slowdown near 168th, and on 204th, there's a minor delay between Harrison and Q Street. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Luss Hills Harley Davidson.
Luss Hills Harley Davidson invites you to the biggest, awesomest, most stupendous Christmas in July event ever held since Santa first slid down the chimney. July 29th, there's music from Cover Me Bad, food trucks, and big deals on used motorcycles. Details at LussHillsHD.com.
The cigar enthusiasts at Hearth Cigars and Pipes are a pretty diverse bunch of humans. Some enjoy an adult beverage or two, others pass the time with a competitive yet friendly game of dominoes. Still others enjoy shooting some pool downstairs, while more than a few are just satisfied with each other's company. The common thread with all of them is the awesomeness that is their favorite cigar from the humidor. Hearth Cigars and Pipes, just off the 48th Street exit from I-680 at the corner of Mormon Bridge Road and McKinley, and at hearthcigars.com.
Shop Sid Dillon Chevrolet, Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer. Visit any of our 4 locations for your new Chevy or pre-owned vehicle, or at siddillonchevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Listen, if you're going to name your company after the single greatest sandwich in the history of, well, history, you better be pretty flippin' good at what you do. Am I right? PB&J Welding Supply of Fremont is pretty flippin' good at what they do. They supply professional welders with all the gear they need to do the job. Welders and plasma cutters to gases and tools. PB&J Welding Supply has them. PB&J Welding Supply, North Broad Street in Fremont, and at pbandjweldingsupply.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com, BABBEL.com.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here. Hope to see you at Golf Flash, the 6th straight year we've done so at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. Get signed up today by visiting miraclehillgolf.com. Prizes of at least $100 on every single hole. It's miraclehillgolf.com.
This hour is powered by Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair, Nebraska on 1620 The Zone. Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Nap time brought to you by Heart Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off 680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's. It's Heart Cigars and Pipes Lounge.
Our band is off the field. Second half about to begin on a Monday. Good morning, everybody. Nick is at home taking care of under the weather little one down the studio. It is football week. Media days in Indianapolis begins on Wednesday. Nebraska's contingent is on Thursday. Kind of as the end of the offseason, and football will be here. This time next week, Nebraska will be practicing. Here is some news. This will be an interesting call. You, in the past, have been able to go to camp, Nick, with 110 guys on your roster. So you have, let's say you're full at 85 scholarships, and then you add, 25 walk-ons. Well, Ross Dellinger reported that the NCAA Legislative Relief Committee has approved a 1-year waiver. So FBS schools can report with 120 players. The question becomes, who are the 7 players that are left out? Because if you count Huskers.com right now, there's 127 players in the program. Feel bad for those guys.
I mean, that's like singling out 7 guys. You're not good enough to make the 120.
You know, we understand your heart is as big as it's ever been, and we want that. We want that in our program. We want that to be the spirit that drives this, but we got to have a cutoff at some point. At some point, we got to say we're sold out. And right now we're sold out. You guys didn't make the cut. Yeah. How do they, you know, that's always kind of the fascinating thing about when you watch Hard Knocks is who's going to make the 53 man and the guys that do and don't. And then you get the guys that get the practice squad invites. Walk-ons are all, kind of, not all are created equal, but are all kind of striving for the same thing. Like at what point do you, make all right, this isn't, we can't even get like a Daniel Rudiger out of this guy. Like he's not even going to make our current guys better. I mean, is that what do you get rid of the guy that tries too hard guy? The guy that makes the starters look really bad because he tries too damn hard. That's a tough one right there. I feel for them. I really do.
So the roster online of the reconfigured Huskers.com, we got to fix how you can sort the rosters. There's 127 players. Now, Nebraska is fine with scholarships. There are some guys that I think are on this. Well, I know that are on this list that are not going to be on this list next week. And that has been a while ago that they have chosen not to continue their football career. Nebraska is fine in terms of scholarships. I said it when there was all that angst that Nebraska was well over 90, that they would find a way to get even under 85. By my math, they are right at 85. So they're good. There's some names that will come off the list that is online, and they just have waited before taking them off. Maybe Matt Rule will even go in depth in Indianapolis of some guys that have elected not to play football anymore. But when Nebraska reports this weekend, they can have 120 guys. This is a one-year deal, according to Ross Dellinger. They are going to review it after camp to see if this will become permanent. Another little nugget for Husker fans. This was in a Q&A with Husker Extra and Lincoln Journal-Star. Maybe Amy Just knows more about this when she joins us at the bottom of the hour. John Cook was asked about the expanded TV coverage of volleyball, remembering that the national championship match has been moved to a Sunday and a standalone on ABC. He said that they are working on a deal right now. Again, this is Husker Extra Q&A with John Cook. They're working on a deal to possibly host a tournament in Lincoln in 2024 that will be televised on Fox. If it happens, it more than likely will be played at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
That better be a good, nothing against like the Kentucky directional schools or any of the other schools. That I would think that would be like a heavy hitter tournament. Like the likes of Florida and stuff like that.
Well, if Big Fox is going to put something on, I'm thinking like a Stanford and a Texas and a Wisconsin, a Louisville. If Big Fox, which, we'll be curious to see in moving forward with the Big Ten's involvement with Fox, if outside of football and men's basketball, we start to see some volleyball or women's basketball on Big Fox. The Big East is kind of asking the same thing if they move forward with Fox. But if this is going to happen, I think it's major. It's a Nebraska, Stanford. It's a Wisconsin. It's a Texas. I mean, can you imagine Nebraska, Texas being on Fox at PBA?
It's like the old days.
Oh.
It'd be awesome. And I think also if you're the network partners, you're looking at, okay, we know what we're going to get out of men's, women's basketball and obviously football. Is there another sport? Is there another one that draws some eyeballs as far as the overall competitiveness of the Big Ten and what that volleyball product looks like? Yeah, that I think it's going to be good for both parties. I would venture guess. Obviously, it's good for the Big Ten schools, but I could see Fox getting some good eyeballs on that product as well.
Hey, as I went back and I was trying to, again, we got to have some speaks about not being able to sort the Nebraska roster or the rosters online. This Huskers.com. It's a work in progress. We also will find out this week when they, put out a media guide or a updated roster. Guys that get numbers, all of a sudden the single-digit numbers will be back.
Yes. And is that something that they have gone ahead? Is that going to be made public on Thursday? I wonder. Are you going to have the reason behind it as opposed to just seeing the roster, seeing the media guide and be like, oh, okay. Will Matt Rule Will that be his Oski moment? Will he promote all of the single-digit players and give you a defining characteristic of why they earned that single digit? Something to really digest there.
Well, I think you'd be more likely to do that in a Nebraska media group setting.
Okay.
I think the podium people, that might be a little bit over their head, because then he'd go into explaining the 10%, what there were almost 50 guys that are in the 10% club. And then he'd have to explain that. And then his time would be up and nobody would be able to sneak in a question.
That's true. That is true.
We got an update with Jimmy coming up here in a little bit. Amy, just bottom of the hour. Here is Randy. Randy, good morning. Welcome to the show on the 42 Degree Hotline.
Well, thanks. This is for the roster management. This is 127 kids. There's got to be at least a few hangnails. Somebody's been to the doctor for a shot of penicillin. Put them on the injured reserve. Gotta be 7 of them of that group, isn't there?
I think there are a couple of scholarship guys that are still on this list that I believe have elected not to continue their career. But they will get down. Remember, Randy, when the big push was we'd like a roster as big as possible, and we were talking 150 just a few years ago?
That was insane, but yeah.
Randy, thanks for the phone call. Hey, hangnail.
Need a bigger meeting room because of that.
If your football career in college ends because of a hangnail, did it ever really begin?
Yeah.
No. You need to reevaluate your relationship with that coach and what he promised you, because there's something there.
We hope to have him back here by the end of the decade.
This is here. I'm for less seats in a stadium, and I'm for less spots on a roster.
Yep.
I know Bill Moose and Frost talked about, man, we want to get back to the old days. Well, the old days, Nebraska had 4,000 guys that were on the roster. Mm-hmm. Okay? You didn't have really any barriers, and just the famous picture. One of the early memories I have of Nebraska football, there was a shot taken above, like in a helicopter or something, and this is probably early 80s, and they showed Nebraska stretching. It looked like fall camp, and you remember how large a gathering it was when guys back in the 80s were stretching on the field. If you recall the picture, I think it went national, and there was a lineup of guys on every yard line. Mm-hmm. And it was like, 8 across all the way down from end zone to end zone. Those days are long gone. But Bill Moose and Scott Frost talked about, because of reps and practice of having more bodies available. Well, that's great in theory if you're going to use them the right way.
Right.
You had too many guys that were standing around. So this is better for more reps with less people on the roster. I mean, 120 seems to be right. If you're going to operate that you're going to be full at your scholarships, that's an additional 35 that are in your program that are helping you every day, and maybe be on the field. They're just not a scholarship guy and you wouldn't know the difference, or they're fighting to get a scholarship down the road. I think 120 is a perfect number for a college football roster these days, not the additional 30 that we wanted just a few years ago. So it would help us in practice. It doesn't help you in practice if you're not using it the right way.
Yeah, exactly.
Too many guys were standing around, and then guys were not prepared, whether they be the second or third team guys, when they were moved to the forefront and had to get out there and play.
Absolutely. When Scott first talked about 150 being the ideal goal, like, to me that made zero sense on the basis of being able to maximize reps, because obviously less bodies, more opportunities for reps. I get it from a competition standpoint of you're trying to push your first and second team guys and scouting reports, or scout team interactions. But to me, that doesn't make sense. If you're going through each individual drill and you've got more bodies that are also having to go through that drill, how is that maximizing reps? And if you do, yeah, you're right. If you have a plan and it's like this machine where everybody's going from one place to the other and there's constant movement and everybody's involved, there's no downtime, there's not people sitting around. Okay, if you can figure that out and you can still get the most out of those opportunities with individual drills, reps, teamwork, and whatnot, okay, fine. But 150, how the hell are you going to be able to do that? I think that 115, 125, that is the sweet spot without question when it comes to the simple idea of trying to maximize reps, because I think we'd all agree there's a lot of value when it comes to that. But how can you do that with more than 130?
So Mike Riley usually was around 130. Frost's first year, they were in the 140 range. And right now there's 127 guys that are listed online. But then where it became an issue is prior to the 2020 season, which was upended, but going into spring and then before we knew that the Big Ten season would be pushed back, Nebraska's roster size in 2020 was 166. There were 166 guys on the roster, 166 guys in the roster in 2020, and a lot of them left the program. So you had some buffer there, but 120 guys is the ideal size for me when it comes to a roster nowadays. I don't know how you manage 166 guys because you're looking at what? You're looking at about an additional 80 walk-ons, and he went heavy after his first full recruiting class. He went heavy with the walk-on class. 166 is ridiculous. 127, and it'll go down a little bit. And maybe there's an addition that we don't know about. So it'll probably stay in the 125 range with this current team. Seems like the ideal number for Nebraska in college football moving forward.
Yeah, if you got like 160-something guys, when you have like 45 of them just on call, like, you go to bed that night, like, hey, if we, you got to call this number in the morning. If it's your color, then you're showing up in the morning to practice. Like, what is that? You'd have like a reserve squad that's like, all right, we may or may not be like, I mean, I don't even know how you get anything done.
It's like flying Southwest Airlines. You'd be like, Group C, you'll be playing football today. Group C.
Everybody line up.
8:20. Here's an update with Jimmy.
Yeah, let's there. Okay, let's get this going. All right. I'll tell you what I was looking at the end of this. Nothing controversial. It's just keeping tabs because we know people want to know the race for the worst record in baseball, and we'll have an update on that. The Storm Chasers have a good record over the weekend. They get themselves a series win over the St. Paul Saints with a 3-1 victory yesterday afternoon behind a quality start from Anthony Veneziano and a timely rally at the 7th inning. They also won Friday and Saturday night, so a very successful weekend for them. After an off day today, the Storm Chasers begin a 2-week road trip to Columbus and Louisville, beginning tomorrow night in Columbus at 6:05. Omaha Hockey announces the signing of former Blackhawks / Rockford IceHogs developmental goaltending coach and assistant coach Peter Arbery as an associate coach. There you go, Nick. All right, get the Blackhawks some influence in Omaha. Contributions to the team included running small group skill sessions, scouting opponents, offensive and defensive tendencies, and evaluating the IceHogs scoring chance situations. Aubrey also developed super chances analytics for the organization to evaluate scoring chances. So seems like a very nice addition to the staff for.
No, I agree. Now just introduce yourself to another guy that is a member of the Chicago Blackhawk organization who played at UNO and lives here in town and is their top scout.
There you go.
And then I want to also ask what happened with Luke Snuggerud. Well, he never really got to the level that I thought he would. But anyway, that's it.
Well, assuming everything is still as it is this coming season, you'll get a chance to ask him personally.
That's okay. Jake Gensel's going to be a Blackhawk in a year, so it'll be fun.
How the fortunes have changed.
In the NFL, the Panthers signed quarterback Bryce Young to a 4-year deal over the weekend that will allow him to report to training camp on schedule. Funny how that works out. The $37.9 million deal includes $24.6 as a signing bonus, and of course, it's fully guaranteed. Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, who spent his offseason recovering from a foot injury, passed his training camp physical. Congratulations to him. Will be worked into practice at the right pace to start camp, and wouldn't call it slowly after the quarterback did not participate in any on-field activities during the offseason workout program. In college, Deion Sanders underwent successful surgery Thursday to remove a blood clot in his right leg. Everything's good, defensive coordinator Charles Kelly said at Pac-12 Media Day Friday. He said he texted him before he had the procedure done, and after it was done, said everything went good. The procedure also included doctors straightening 2 of Sanders' toes to prevent future pain. Deion said that on an Instagram video earlier this week. With Deion unavailable to travel, Kelly attended Media Day in his place and was joined by Deion's son, Shadur, the quarterback, and defensive back / wide receiver Travis Hunter, who we've all heard of too if you watch the Coach Prime documentary. In baseball, the Angels and their fans left the stadium yesterday afternoon not knowing whether that was the last time they'll ever see Shohei Ohtani in the Angels home uniform. He hit his major league leading 36th homer in the Angels' final home game before the August 1st trade deadline, and they wrapped up a strong homestand with a 7-5 victory over the Pirates. While Otani's future is uncertain as the team heads to Detroit, the Halos' recent team success seemingly decreases the odds of a trade, while Angels owner Artie Moreno decides whether to risk losing him in free agency this winter. General Manager Perry Minasian said that the Angels are highly unlikely to deal Otani if they remain in playoff contention. The Angels are still in the AL wildcard race, although it currently features 7 teams separated by roughly 6 games for the final 2 spots. Finally, in the race for the worst record ever, the Royals did their part, getting swept in the Bronx over the weekend. They lose to the Yankees 8-5 to fall to 28-73, not to be outdone by the Oakland Athletics, who lose at home to the Astros, who needed to keep pace with the Rangers, who still maintain a 3-game lead in first. The Astros defeat them 3-2. Oakland is now 28-74. Just to think, almost 10 years ago, 9 to be exact, the Royals and A's played that dramatic 1-game playoff game at Kauffman Stadium. See if we can get a 1-game playoff at the end of the year to see who has the worst record ever. Sell tickets to that.
Hey, as a society, we love dumpster fires and train wrecks. There you go.
Yeah, you could get like a waste management sponsorship. Possibilities are endless.
Well, remember the days 40 years ago today is the Pine Tar game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. Where were you? I was probably in my crib.
Brett's anger.
I was at Catholic Youth Camp, Lake Panorama. Did not know it happened until I got a letter from my mom a couple of days later saying, wait till you see what happened in the Royals game. And my dad had cut the story out of the newspaper and sent it to me.
Wow.
Yep.
That's like parenting of the year type stuff right there.
That's pretty good.
Well, then I wanted to, I couldn't watch TV or anything like that. I mean, you're at camp, summer camp. So I may have faked like an illness so I could get like a nice room that had access to a TV.
I believe that's also what inmates do when they're in prison.
Well, you got to keep up with that game of the week.
Some might tell you that going to that Catholic youth camp with Father Cordero was like being in prison.
Oh, maybe another story.
You were Kobe, he was Shaq. You just threw it down.
I'm not really sure what I was. There was a lot of confusion going on when you're 9 years old. All right. Thanks, Jimmy. Amy Justice coming up here in a little bit. The Big Ten Media Days are on Wednesday. There has to be something today in my inbox from the Big Ten that says Northwestern has declined to be involved in this year's Big Ten Media Days. Because at some point this afternoon, civil rights attorney Ben Crump will announce another lawsuit against Northwestern. And he has said that this latest suit contains damning new details of sexual hazing and abuse in its football program. There is a writer in Chicago, Nick and Jimmy, that says this one will involve that coaches got hazed as well. WTF? What is going on? And if this is the case, that they move forward and the interim head coach and the student athletes are sent to Indianapolis to appear before media, that is one of the most cowardly things that university has done ever. The president, the athletic director, never have taken any public questions or held a public gathering on this. There is no way that you send your interim coach and student athletes to this venue and they're the first ones to speak. I would decline if I were those guys and say, we got to focus on this season. So I would think that's got to happen maybe today, because if it doesn't and they have to go through with this, Godspeed. And there should never be another day that president and athletic director uses their swipe card to get into their office in Evanston.
It just seems like Northwestern right now, and I hope you're right. I hope that's exactly what we learned today, is that those student athletes and David Braun are not going to have to speak because they're hiding behind the label of a private institution that they don't technically have to disclose anything publicly. The optics of this are horrendous. When you continue to basically have people take the bullets for you and put them out there where you're not going to get one single football question, it's going to be all about the state of the program and everything that's happened. And you as an institution that are overseeing this and already botched the punishment to begin with, and we're making a major announcement to its football program via Zoom, and you are now going to put an interim coach who wasn't here and some student athletes that we'll wonder if had any involvement in this hazing in front of the media, and you think that's a good idea, and yet you won't show your face. You can hide behind the private institution thing all you want, but the optics are terrible.
Yep. I would expect that to happen. That should happen. And no one will say, oh, Northwestern, you bailed. No. That's okay. That's okay, because it sounds like it's going to be a bad day in Evanston. Amy Just from the Journal Star is coming next.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
People are excited by our clone Elvis. What a natural idea that is for dead celebrities.
It's out there. It's available.
Nobody in the Presley estate who was particularly attached to Elvis is alive anymore. So why not sign off on the likeness? Like, yeah, clone Elvis.
Just an idea. Just yet another fantastic idea from us here at the Connor Happer Show.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Strong to severe thunderstorms possible this morning will move out by mid-morning, becoming partly cloudy for your afternoon and hot today. High of 95 in Omaha, but feeling like 102 this afternoon. Southerly wind gusts possible later today, up to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy and a bit warm, a low of 71. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees. The Source. By your mom's house.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report at 72nd and Western Avenue, so please be cautious if you're in that area. On Industrial Road, be prepared for a significant delay from 156th all the way to 149th. Then along Highway 370, things are slowing down just a little bit from 150th to the I-80 East ramp. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Lanahan Nurseries.
No better time than now to focus on your garden or landscape. Come shop Lanaha's Garden Center, filled with the area's best quality plants, flowers, and trees. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
The time between Memorial Day and Labor Day is known as the 100 Deadliest Days. It's a time when school's out and experienced drivers are spending more time on the road, and fatal car crashes increase dramatically. In 2020 alone, the 100 Deadliest Days accounted for 37% of all traffic fatalities in Nebraska. Don't let distractions blind you. Focus on the basics. Watch your speed. Eliminate distractions. Never drive impaired. And always buckle up. Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office and the Nebraska chapter of the National Safety Council.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The Omaha Farmers Market is celebrating 30 years in 2023 every Saturday in the Old Market from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and every Sunday in Exarban Village from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Enjoy the bountiful season of locally grown and handmade goods. Get the city's best selection of fresh produce, herbs, meat, and more. To keep up with what's in season, visit omahafarmersmarket.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Presented by Methodist Health System with media sponsors KETV Channel 7 and Sweet 98.5.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, football season is almost officially here. We get a tease this week, and then the real deal a week from today is the start of practice. And Jessica Drill joins us, worldwide traveler all over the country, and now she'll put Indianapolis on her list of places I visited this year. She joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning. How are we doing?
Good. Are we all looking forward to going to Indianapolis, hanging out with fellow scribes, sitting and waiting and listening to a lot of coach speak?
I am not ready for it to be here. It got here too fast. It gets here too fast every year. So I'm not ready, but it's going to be here before we know it.
Hey,
before no, you're good.
And you, before Nick jumps in, because you got a question about Nebraska's appearance, Northwestern is going to be a focus, whether they are there or not. Yeah. I truly believe that they should not put their interim head coach and their student athletes in that position to be the first to publicly speak. So I hope that happens. But with Northwestern's season, and you kind of get the feeling that there is more lawsuits to come. There's going to
be one filed today.
Yes. Does the Northwestern season even matter?
No. But yes. It's going to matter to those players. It's for better or for worse. This is a season that they're going to remember forever. But it's going to be complicated for everybody else. So it's going to matter to the people who, are on that team and are feeling, I'm sure, a lot of different things right now.
Mm-hmm.
But in the grand scheme of things, the football doesn't matter. Just like it didn't matter at Penn State and it didn't matter at Baylor, even though they played anyway. It matters to the people that are swept up in it. As either, innocent bystanders or people who did things or people who had things done to them. It's complicated.
Yep.
But yes, it matters, but no, it doesn't.
Amy, the biggest part of Big Ten Media Day we look at is the different storylines that come out of it, obviously, and if anything is, sort of new, but anymore, it's just kind of a preview and coaches sort of setting the tone. When you look at different types of these gatherings, especially with what happened last year that we talked a lot about where, there wasn't an opening statement with Scott Frost, but when it does, if you think about a head coach's responsibility in these types of gatherings, especially to Media Day, what would you say the significance of their time at the podium is, and what we should expect from coaches, maybe coming away with a passing grade, if you will?
Yeah. So honestly, it's just for the Big Ten Network. That's what it's for. It's only 15 minutes, and some people, they choose to filibuster basically the entire way through. Other ones don't. I think Matt will give a pretty lengthy opening statement, but he'll take questions too. I'm sure he'll talk about his Penn State upbringing and how, wonderful it is to be at an event with, Penn State representatives, how he feels about Nebraska. I think it'll probably be a very similar truncated version to things that we have heard before, because this is for a different audience. This is for the nation at large, the Big Ten footprint at large. So I think that he will come out of it with a passing grade, just because he's a pretty good speaker and he knows what he's doing up there. But yeah, I don't know if we will chart any new ground, especially in that setting. Maybe at the side podium, but not in the big one. But we'll see what happens. On Thursday is when Nebraska goes. Northwestern and Iowa and several other schools go Wednesday.
So let's, the national media will try and walk us through the Matt Rule plan at Temple and Baylor. 3-23 the first year, 13-12 the next year, and then the 21-7 run for a division title or a conference title in year number 3. I think we would all be very disappointed if this was year 1-ish around Temple and Baylor. But if this was year 2-ish and 500, what would be the general reaction? If it was a 6-6 season, what would be the general reaction, Amy?
Well, for me, it would be surprise, because I don't think that they're going to be 6-6. I think 4 is pretty reasonable. Just looking at the schedule, they might be able to eke out 5, beat a team that's a surprise. But 6-6, I think, would be, kind of a sigh of relief for people, because it's been a while since Nebraska was bowl eligible. But I don't know if they're going to get there. That's not a knock on the team. That's more just that's where things are right now. And Rule has said similar things, so I don't think I'm speaking out of school on that one. But yeah, 6-6, I think, would be a good thing and a positive one. But I don't think that they get there. But I would like to be wrong. It's more fun to cover wins. So I would like to be wrong with the record reflect.
So is your hesitation on past history or current players on this roster?
It's neither of those things. Okay. It takes time to learn new things. Like installing a new defense, that takes time. Like it takes like a year for those things to fully be cemented. Because if you remember last year, Chenander's defense was too complicated, and so Bush had to pare it down and said we need to keep things simple for these guys. And so again, that's not a knock on them. That's just, it's hard to learn like a whole new language and whole new rules for how things are going to work overnight. It just doesn't work that way. And so I think the offense will come along a little bit faster than the defense. But even then, they're still changing things with the offense, and the offense is going to look different. So that's going to take some time too. So I don't think it's either of those things that you mentioned. I just think it just takes time to learn new things and takes time to get established. And that's why first-year coaches usually don't do super great, because that's a lot of change. And people are getting used to a lot of change. Plus, there's a lot of new teammates. And, to use a corporate buzzword, the synergy just isn't there yet, at least to where it needs to be.
Amy, we've talked about it on this program with the relatively quiet offseason from Jeff Sims. He's going to be there. He's going to be representing not only this university's football program, but also the most important position in Nebraska. What do you think we can learn, or the overall intrigue that is going to be there with Jeff Sims?
Yeah, so with him, he has only talked to us you know,
Twice?
fewer than 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's twice, I think. Once definitely, because I wrote about him adjusting to the cold. But it was a topical storyline, okay? But yeah, it's just, we don't know a whole lot about him in terms, like, in, perspective to the other guys who are going to be talking, right? So I think that he's going to have a lot of interesting things to say, because a lot of it is going to be new. Like, Nebraska fans haven't heard it before. So, yeah, I'm really interested as to what he has to say. I'm also interested just in general that there aren't very many teams bringing quarterbacks this year. That's usually a case, but I think it's really interesting that it's like the teams with new coaches that are bringing quarterbacks.
Yeah,
but it's really strange.
Well, and with Jeff Sims too, we were talking about this earlier. It's a guy that is not really active on social media. It's a guy that has kind of stayed under the radar, and I think there's probably, given what we've seen with this team in the past, this is probably not a bad thing. Maybe the mystery to Jeff Sims goes beyond just a guy who isn't active on social media, but the mystery to it is also when it comes to trying to learn what this guy is going to be about, how they're going to use him. Maybe that serves this football program well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing that he chooses to shun social media. Shun isn't the right word, because he is on there, but he doesn't use it like his counterparts do. Working in the shadows isn't always a bad thing. So I am interested to hear everything that he has to say, just because I think it's going to be really interesting, considering we don't really know him.
Well, and you were bringing up, so it's Nebraska, Purdue, and Wisconsin. 3 places that have 3 new head coaches are bringing quarterbacks that haven't played a down of football at their respective schools. So that there's the intrigue, and I've said this numerous times this summer. Like, Jeff Sims really isn't nationally being talked about, and then all of a sudden he shows up on, well, he's got the most pressure. Kid was an Elite 11 finalist. He started as a freshman at Georgia Tech. He had a very interesting career with a very interesting program at that time. Now he's got a new lease on life as the guy that we wanted. So he is here. There is no doubt that when the season opens up in a month and a week from now, on the 31st, that he is going to be the starter. So let's get into the nuts and bolts here for a little bit, Amy. If Nebraska is able to get to a bowl game, what does Jeff Sims have to do to make sure Nebraska gets there?
Well, if we look at last season, the lion's share of Nebraska's offense was Casey Thompson and Trey Palmer. So he's going to have to put up better numbers than Casey Thompson. Granted, not going to be technically hard to do, since Casey missed several games due to injury. But he's also going to have to be good in the run game. Like, Nebraska needs a good run game. And that's not discrediting what Anthony Grant did last season. I thought Anthony Grant did really well for a big stretch of time there. But the run game is going to have to go through Jeff, Anthony, and whoever else that they choose to be their other back. I just think it needs to be a little bit more prolific, but a lot of that will, again, come down to the offensive line and the blocking schemes that they have instituted. How much are they going to use that fullback? Are they going to use 2 tight end sets? How's that going to look? I mean, we could talk about that forever, but I just think better protection and just more offense, I think, is the key there, which sounds really dumb, but that's just what it comes down to, at least for me, in my perspective.
Amy, Matt Rule, we talked about that. These are his type of gatherings, he shines in it. But we do know in these types of events, especially new coaches, they're always going to be asked that expectation. They're going to be asked if they can put a number to any type of goals in that first year when it comes to wins. And I know what you were talking about earlier. Do you think Matt Rule, kind of going back to just his time from being introduced in late November to present day, that he's done a pretty good job of kind of playing that game of keeping the fans excited that, this could be still a very good season, but he's also never really thrown any type of numbers. Do you kind of expect that to continue? Because it's inevitable. He's going to be asked that question on Thursday.
He's thrown out numbers. He said, we're a 4-8 team right now, and we have to put in the work to deserve to be able to be a winning football team.
Yeah.
That's what he said in the spring. That is the quote, and that is not verbatim, but paraphrased. But that is the quote that will not get out of my head. So we have put numbers on there, kind of. But he'll get asked about it, and I'm sure he'll probably say something similar to what he said in the spring. He may not say we're a 4-8 football team, but he may say, we have to put in the work to even, deserve to talk about winning. Is probably the coach speak that he's going to say. Speak. That's my guess.
Hey, one final thing. We'll get chatter on this. Just kind of sum it up. How good is it to be John Cook right now?
Hoo-wee! Without divulging too much of the story that I'm working on that should publish here in a couple of weeks, pretty good.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. That's like, what kind of news is that?
It's nice.
You're right. It's good.
I mean, we got to give us a little,
He wins the volleyball.
A little nugget. Lifetime contract, are we talking here?
No.
Okay.
No. Let's see. He says he is coaching at his best right now, and the reasons for that come from a place that you wouldn't necessarily think it would come from.
Oh, okay. Now there you go.
See,
now
there we go.
I like that. Now, how come you haven't published that yet? Start writing today. I want to read this tomorrow.
Because we have our special section due, content due on Thursday. We have media days this week, and my mom is here visiting, so I'm trying to spend some time with her too.
Okay, I guess I'll give you an extra day or two. But he's he did a Q&A with Brent Wagner, and there's some other stuff in there. Yeah, they're in a really, really good spot. A month away from holding 90,000 people inside of a football stadium to watch his team play.
I'm so excited for that. It's going to be a long week, but it's going to be one to remember for sure.
Going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you in Indy.
Yep. Yeah.
That's Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star. My biggest takeaway, boys,
you can
from
teach
that
her
interview.
teases in Indianapolis and how to
execute them. We just had to challenge her a little bit. My biggest takeaway from that 15-minute conversation with Amy. For the first time in 3 months, we had no phone issues.
I thought maybe because I was on the StreamYard and I was hearing it differently, but this is amazing.
So
that's what she sounds like.
So Jimmy called her, and the first thing I say is, "How's she sound?" And Jimmy goes, "You know what? She sounds really good. Might be the best she's sounded since she started coming on with us." Yeah. So we both go, all right.
I heard that. I was like, oh, yeah, that's what her voice sounds like. I forgot about that.
Well, and when I text you guys that, I said, hey, this sounds good. I was worried that you're going to be like, oh, it does it? Because on our end, it doesn't. I thought maybe I was getting some type of good special audio coming through my headset over here. So I'm glad it was consistent. That was good.
We get one next week, and then the following week, we're on a winning streak, boys.
Oh, we are.
It has been done before.
All right, quick break. We'll come back. Nebraska Ball Mike wants to chime in on whatever negative thing that we've said this morning. Some guy was after me. He goes, how can you be down on a major? I'm like, how can you watch that thing? There was no drama. There was no drama.
You and I love golf. All right, we love majors. That was boring, man. That was boring.
Hey, and to be fair, I thought the 22 Masters were boring as well. I like my drama.
I did too, but and then it was Brian Harmon.
I like Johnny. I don't like personal, but I do like my drama and sporting events. And also, I don't necessarily like underdogs. There you go. I like the cartoon. I don't like it in my majors. Okay. So full disclosure, very transparent. All right, we're back with more Mornings with Sharp and Handley after this.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Hey, Mike, I heard you had some paint samples on your house.
Yeah, but with all the kids' games, my third grader might be in college by the time I finish.
I almost tackled that project, but decided to call Fremont Roofing Company to come out and install permanent siding so I never have to paint again.
That'd be a game changer.
They did a great job. Plus, they answer the phone every time you call.
Call Fremont Roofing Company at 402-727-9400. We'll transform your exterior while you cheer on the future athletes of Nebraska.
PACE, Police Athletics for Community Engagement Organization, is dedicated to preventing at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children from becoming involved in street gangs, crime, drug use, and victimization. PACE provides an opportunity to develop discipline, self-esteem, and positive moral values through wholesome competition and free participation in soccer, baseball, CrossFit, and flag football. To help PACE and local families make sure kids have access to safe and fun spring and summer activities, please go to paceomaha.org to support the PACE mission. Thank you.
Summer's in full swing, and you know what that means. Temperatures are hot, grills are hot, and the deals are hotter than fire at Omaha Steaks. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Garden in the search bar, and for a limited time, you can score 32 delicious grilling essentials, including 12 free burgers from Omaha Steaks for just $99.99. That's 62% off the regular price. Score unreal savings on unrivaled quality from America's original butcher. That's omahasteaks.com, Garden in the search bar to order today.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Sorry, I'm late. I got here as fast as I could. What'd I miss?
What did you miss? You missed the stop sign at the corner.
You barely missed your little sister on her bike.
You see Mrs. Turner walking her dog? Luckily, he's on a leash, or you wouldn't have missed him.
Don't miss the point of this message. Drive the speed limit and pay attention, or you might end up missing all of your friends, family, and freedom. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
We've all had this happen. Somebody says something about a thing, and then a couple of days later, you see an ad for that thing pop up on your newsfeed. Weird, right? Well, in an honest attempt at not being weird, Langfeld Overhead Doors would like you to remember them when you or your friends need a new garage door. You can trust the professionals at Langfeld Overhead Door to repair or replace your garage door. You can also trust them not to listen in on your conversations, because that's weird. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights.
NRG Media is looking for an accomplished business-to-business salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to a new level. Is this you? Our account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on-site, audio, video, it's all part of what you can sell. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Your exclusive home for Royals baseball in Omaha.
Right up the middle, base hit, and the Royals are a winner.
1620 The Zone.
Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, the last hour, our Monday Hoop Heads will stop by. Here's a hoop head himself, Nebraska ball Mike. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning. Do you want me to not call anymore?
That what
you don't. I mean, you call. You said I'm calling about negative stuff. When there's negative stuff to be talked about, I'm going to call in.
No,
especially if it's this.
You're not negative. I'm saying, people thought we were a little harsh on Brian Harmon winning the Open earlier in the show.
I don't mind that. I just wish there'd have been more drama.
There you go. I know you like a life with drama. I've seen your social media activity.
My question is this: would the Big Ten ever think about dropping Northwestern out?
No. If they didn't drop Penn State, why would they drop Northwestern?
Well, that's true. I'm thinking
Now-
you could go get Notre Dame, Iowa State, or Colorado right now.
Did you just say Iowa State in the
Just
Big Ten?
snuck that right in there.
Did
Well,
give Iowa a real rival since they want one.
not a chance that Iowa would allow Iowa State to come into the Big Ten.
Just remember I said that, Hawkeye fan. I don't care.
Okay.
Colorado's a better fit. Notre Dame's a better fit. Northwestern needs to either go home or go hide.
Well, here's what would be the thing of all the stuff that's gone on in the last few weeks in Evanston. There will be more of a chatterbox of academias on the campus of why are we competing in the Big Ten or why are we competing in athletics?
So would they drop out themselves?
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But there will be people on their own campus that will question why they have athletics, why at an institution that is not tarnished by their academics is now tarnished by their athletics. Why do we continue to compete in the Big Ten and put resources into it? They're not leaving the Big Ten. They're not going to go anywhere. There's going to be some guys that were involved that are going somewhere, but Northwestern will not leave the Big Ten, and the Big Ten will not drop kick them into, the MAC.
Okay, I just find it rather interesting that they're the team that picks on us the most and they've done nothing.
So wait a minute.
Like you've done absolutely nothing until from 95 until now, you've done nothing.
You're talking about Northwestern
And
football?
your best player that you've ever had just
Hold
had to
on.
leave in disgrace.
Hold on.
What?
I mean, it's still amazing that Northwestern's only win last year, Mike, was against Nebraska. They went
I
1-11.
understand that, but that's because we had an idiot out front. We don't have an idiot anymore.
Okay. Do you know between Nebraska and Northwestern who has played in the Big Ten championship game more?
I know. I don't care about that. I don't
Okay.
care about now.
Okay.
What have they done? Do they have a ring?
They have
No. They got killed by Ohio State. Big deal. We did too.
What about those first round guys?
Yeah.
What?
The guys they have gotten drafted in the first round.
Peter Skoronsky.
Like last
You think
year.
they're going to be ashamed of where they went now?
I don't know.
I would.
Well, are guys that went to Penn State or Michigan State or Ohio State, are they ashamed to tell everybody where they're
You
from?
better be.
Okay.
With your coaches being fired for something like that, or ostracized for something like that, that's absolutely horrible. I would.
All right. How soon do Mike? I know this might be a loaded question. How soon before Pat Fitzgerald is a head coach again?
He's done.
I'll disagree. I will say within the next couple of years, Pat Fitzgerald is coaching college football again.
You think somebody would be? Oh God, that's a reach.
Mike,
I don't know about that.
Mike, there is sentiment out there that Pat Fitzgerald was a scapegoat.
What else are they going to say today? There's the loaded question.
Well, we're about to find out. The wild one yesterday was that this involves coaches that were also hazed.
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time figuring that out.
How? That's like that. That makes no sense.
That's the intrigue.
No. Hey, Mike, thanks for the phone call.
All right.
Call back anytime.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. We ended on a good note there.
When did I didn't realize Northwestern talks a lot of trash about Nebraska?
Evidently, I guess.
So I think he was intimating the abundance of national media that are Northwestern's.
Yes, the Michael Wilbons of the world, the Mike Greenbergs. Okay, I got you.
People would like to make you forget about 2020. No one will ever forget about 2020 around here. That is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely guaranteed. We got to take a break because Jacob Bigelow is in the green room. Nebraska basketball, out of the blue yesterday, got a commitment for this upcoming season. Will not join them on their trip to Spain, but we will talk about the 6'9" Senegal native who will be dressing for Nebraska in the fall. Jacob Bigelow joins us next.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backwin Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accident to report at 72nd and Western Avenue, so please be cautious if you're in that area. On Industrial Road, be prepared for a significant delay from 156th all the way to 149th. Then along Highway 370, things are slowing down just a little bit from 150th to the I-80 East ramp. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
You could win a trip to Nashville's iconic Ryman Auditorium for a private concert by Luke Combs and a chance at $500,000. Just enter non-winning Nebraska Lottery Luke Combs scratch tickets before August 1st. Scratch ticket top prize odds, 1 in 128,000.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's hot outside. The same beer as those icy cold Nebraska brewed beers, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer Friday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
If you really crave the true Southern taste of down-home barbecue and soul food, Rib Shack Smokehouse is the place to be. Established in St. Louis and now in Omaha, Rib Shack Smokehouse offers slow-cooked St. Louis ribs, smoked wings, collard greens, and mac and cheese that you can't find anywhere else. Located on the southwest corner of 108th and Q Street and at RibShackSmokehouse.com. Rib Shack Smokehouse is bringing that unique Southern taste back to the Midwest. Call Miss Jackie to cater your graduation, picnic, or special event.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nebraska or Iowa attorneys. 13340 California Street, Suite 200, Omaha, Nebraska, 68154.
The extracurricular activities, the traffic, the nightly homework, the traffic, the finding time to eat dinner together as a family, the traffic. Back to school can be stressful. Thanks to Ziploc, meal prep doesn't have to be. New Ziploc bags with Stay Open design have a patented stand-up bottom that helps keep the bag upright and a top crease that folds and holds for easy filling, unlocking a second set of hands in the kitchen. If only it unlocked a second set of lanes. New Ziploc brand freezer and storage bags with Stay Open design from S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Businesses of Omaha, settling for a website that looks like it's stuck in the early 2000s? Then it's time to level up with JM Online. Our local team builds custom websites that solve unique business needs. We're not your typical web design company. We're your partners in online success. Ready to take your website to the next level? Go to jmonline.com and request an initial call.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620, The Zone.
All right, our good friend Jacob Bigelow kicks off the last hour from Oscars Illustrated. Mr. Hoophead joins us. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't want to box you. I think I was picturing a boxer. Jacob Bigelow, he's a boxing guy. He's a basketball guy. But I'm like, no, he's an all-around guy because I'm going to ask you about boxing. We might even talk some football here. You're a fan of the Grateful Dead. You're a fan of life in general. What's a realistic cover for a bar in Omaha for the Crawford-Spence fight Saturday night?
That's a great question, actually. The first number that popped into my head was $30.
Okay. All right, 30 bucks at the door. Now, does that just get you the fight, or do you get like a couple of drink tickets?
You get some drinks too, I think. Don't know how many. I don't run a bar, but I think $30 could get you in and
$10 voucher.
Get you some kind of deal on something. Yeah.
All right. Would it be considered a real sports bar in Omaha if they're not showing the fight Saturday night?
No,
okay.
Not at all.
Yeah, you got to be showing that because not everyone's going to pay-per-view it up.
Boys go $50 entrance, $50 entrance, $1 you call it's all night.
Wow, he's rolled that right off of memory.
Let's go. Let's go.
Every time Bud lands a punch, everybody gets a shot.
Yes.
Two to stand, four to sit.
By the end of the night, you're going to feel like what Spence is going to feel like. You got to. Would you like to tell us what? You don't have to tell us a winner because maybe you're not all in on Bud. But how long does this fight go?
No, I mean I'm all in on Bud. I've been to a couple of the fights that have been local in person. So I think Bud will get it done. I think it'll go a while too. I don't know about the distance, but maybe 8 or 9, around 8 or 9. I don't know what the round over is at right now, but I'd feel 8 or 9.
If you were to say there is one major, I wouldn't even say concern, but with this fight and given Bud's style, is this one feel like we could still see TKO knockout, or do you think this is going to come down ultimately to a decision?
I could see it going either way, to be honest. I mean, I've the pictures and everything I've seen out of Bud's camp. I mean, he looks the most cut I've ever seen him, and I think he's out for blood. I think his goal is to end it before the distance, not leave it up to judges, and maintain that unblemished record and get all the belts. I mean, I think he's on a mission. We've seen small glimpses of what it can look like when he's on a mission, but this is the fight. We've been hearing about how much each guy needs it for what feels like forever, and now it's finally fight week, and I'm really excited. I'm really pumped, and it's only Monday, so I think he's on a mission to end it early.
We've been waiting a long time for this. It is a legacy fight. Don't ask that question to Bud because he'll say, like, what do you think? Yes, it's a legacy fight. All right, that's coming up on Saturday. We will have a lot more interspersed with our Big Ten media coverage all week long on the Crawford-Spence mega fight, one of the rare mega fights that's going to happen on Saturday night in Vegas. I'm looking at some film of a 6'9" player from Senegal. He runs the floor well. I see no downside this late in the game to add Matter Diop like Nebraska did yesterday out of the blue.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's definitely an upside move. Everything I've seen, he's got a 7'3" wingspan at 6'9". Like you said, runs the floor really well. Good athleticism. He's a strong rebounder. I couldn't find any of his stats anywhere. Maybe that's because of the school he was at in Pennsylvania. They were kind of off the beaten path, but he had shown flashes with the NBA Africa Academy, and then he'd been playing well with Wildcat Select on the 3SSB circuit as well. So I think there's a lot to like upside wise. I wouldn't expect any instant impact from him. Definitely more like a project play, a guy that he can learn from guys like Rink Mass. This upcoming year to develop some tools and be a piece down the line for Nebraska.
Well, I think real quick, Nick. I think when I look at somebody that is a big in basketball, and he's only played 6 years of basketball, so he's really, really raw. That's why I see no downside. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you gave a scholarship to him, because it's a scholarship to grow in. But I think first and foremost, guys, if you want to be a great big in basketball, one of the first things that's at the top of my list isn't defend ball screens, rebound both ends, finish around the rim. I think simply just running the floor, and the limited video that is out there for a guy at 6'9", he gets out and runs the floor. And I think that's something you can't teach, which in his early infinite stages of development, I think is encouraging. I mean, I'm not thinking 23-24 Diop is going to go and, flush one over Edey, but I could see him like in a couple of years being something that could hold his own in the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, no, we're in agreement there. I think he definitely got some pieces to work with, and I mean if he's got offers from guys like Bobby Hurley and Chris Beard, he's obviously got some stuff to him that other coaches they think they can work with. So it's not it definitely wasn't out of the blue. I wasn't expecting commitment news yesterday, but I think there's definitely some things to like about the ad.
And I wanted to get to his size, and I know you said it was kind of hard to find stats, and it really don't seem to be readily available right now. But at 6'9", 210, just watching some of his highlights too, and I don't know if you guys kind of caught this too. He seems bigger, more broad than what 6'9", 210 would tell you. And that's, as Gary mentioned, the ability to run the floor and get up and down the floor. I'm also looking at 6'9", his overall physique. And at 6'9", 210 doesn't sound very big, but he looked broad. He looks kind of strong. And so I'm thinking that there's still a lot of development that's going to go there too. But I kind of liked where he was just coming in as opposed to what 6'9", 210 would tell you.
Yeah, no, I thought that too. He did look pretty big out there. I didn't know if that was just the competition he was going up against or what, but I did agree. I do agree with that. He looked pretty broad. Yeah, 6'9", 210. You have that imagery that pops into your head. It can be pretty different, but I mean 6'9", that weight with a 7'3" wingspan. I mean, guys like that don't grow on trees. So.
All right, he will not be going to Spain because we're late in the process here. We will find out more about the Spain trip when Fred talks to the media here in the next couple of hours. There's no Keisei. He's over hooping in Japan. I don't believe Josiah Alec is available because of off-season surgery. I'm not hearing a great word about Keita being available for this trip. There is also Mast isn't going. There are a couple of other injuries. What will be the result of the Spain trip? Some look at a foreign trip like it's going to greatly benefit Omaha and it will greatly benefit Creighton because they'll have everybody available. But for a team like Nebraska that probably has a couple of starters that are not going to be available, what's the benefit of the trip to Spain, do you think?
The benefit will be all about the off the court stuff, just the getting to know these guys. I mean, they've been together for less than a couple months, getting ready for this trip, practicing on the court. So they're getting to know each other on and off the court. That's still a process, and they got to travel internationally to the other side of the world and back, and the games in between and sightseeing. I mean, I think it'll be all about the off the court stuff, the team bonding, going on the tours in cities like Valencia and the other, I forget the rest of the places they're going, but that's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. And they get to see it with some new teammates, and they get to know each other throughout the process. So that'll be the most beneficial part, I think.
Jacob, we've talked about Fred's personality, his demeanor a lot, especially here in the last year of handling what he obviously knows is a make or break season. But just starting with this trip alone and kind of the overall presence he has with these guys, do you ever expect anything less than a pretty confident, even-keeled, mild-mannered Fred Hoiberg that is you wouldn't be able to tell if he has had the utmost success in Nebraska or he's, trying to struggle to save his job? I mean, is that just the Fred that you kind of expect this year? And so it is kind of tough to gauge whether he's supremely confident with what they can do this year, or if maybe it's sort of a duck in the water that there is some concern, but you would never know it.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd ever know if there's concern with Fred Hoiberg. I mean, he's a consummate. He's a consummate professional. It always seems like he's got some kind of quiet confidence to him, regardless of what his team looks like on paper. And that's a good thing in my opinion. And even with the situation that they'll be in for this trip, yes, there are guys that are injured, but they also have two guys who are gone because they're playing for their national team back home in Keisei and Brink Mass. So they're in a unique situation right now for sure. But when it comes to the big picture and looking to the future, it always feels like Fred Hoiberg's got quiet confidence about the team he's got at his disposal.
Hey, and really the only guy outside of Keisei where Fred has been like, oh, I want to go there, I want to talk more, that you see when he brings up his name, there's like an internal smile. This is the time. It's July 24th. I know you're a big fan. We're a big fan of this edition. I think if you have not bought stock in Rink Mast, this is the time to do it. Do not hesitate any further, because he's the one guy that I think when you ask Fred about him, he will go more in depth and what he means to the program and what he means to the 23-24 roster.
Yeah, absolutely. I would second that. If you're buying stock going into next season for Nebraska basketball, Rink Mast, buy. Diamond hands emoji, whatever you want to describe it. Rink Mast stock. Buy some of that now.
And I know we talked about this when Rink Mast first signed and transferred to Nebraska, but his body in the Big Ten, being able to kind of bang around and also be able to extend out and be able to knock down some long-range shots. Do you feel confident that that's a guy that it's not going to take as much time to kind of adjust to the overall physicality that he's probably going to endure?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think just looking back on his basketball life. I mean, he was playing with a professional team back home when he was 16, 15 years old, and then played at Bradley, and the MOVO. It's definitely changed over the years, but it's that's not a bad league. And talking with some people in the Valley, they said he was kind of underappreciated as a defender, and his physicality didn't get enough notice. So I think the adjustment period won't be much for Rink, and I think he's got plenty of experience both in the college game and internationally that I think will be beneficial for him.
All right, this is just a reminder. This time next year, I better see you wearing a polo, khakis, or shorts as the general manager of Nebraska's TBT team. We got a tease last year because we got to see it in person. I spent this weekend maybe almost watching as much TBT as I did the Open with Brian Harmon winning. We need to make this happen. We've got to start right now. I don't want to hear any more excuses about you being the general manager of the Nebraska TBT team next year.
No, that's the ultimate goal, man. We had some feelers out for this year, and things didn't work out. But I think now we've got a bigger grasp of what we need we need to get it launched and get it going. It's definitely a big financial undertaking, but all I needed to watch was that Cincy alum, Xavier alum game.
Yes.
That was really fun, really intense. Getting that game in Xavier's arena. And I know that the organizers of the TBT, they've got a local edition of that in mind if things were able to line up. So I completely agree. This time next year, we need to have it rolling. So.
I lied here. I got one more. Barbie or Oppenheimer? You've seen both. Which is the better one?
I loved Oppenheimer. That is a cinematic experience. As someone who knows you're going to be spending the next couple days in Indianapolis, there is a theater in Indianapolis that's one of the 19 theaters in America that has the 70 millimeter IMAX version of Oppenheimer. So just keep that in mind if you have some spare time. But that was one of the best cinematic experiences I've had in a long time. See that movie on the biggest screen you can. I don't know if this is going to be my arc where I become like a World War II dad at the age of 26, but that movie was really, really good.
Which one did you see first?
I went Barbie first.
I still can't believe you went to the Barbie movie. But
did you wear pink? Did you dress up?
I did not. I did not dress up. I may have been one of the only 3 people in there that wasn't dressed up, but I was committed as.
You go all goth?
Who comes on? No, that'd be quite the image.
An Anthrax shirt?
Plenty of black. as the guy who comes on the radio after you guys says, you got to commit to the bit, and I was fully committed to the bit for the Barbenheimer double feature, and we pulled it off. So
okay, all right. I will appreciate more movie reviews down the road.
Oh, absolutely. I'm an open book. I'll talk whatever.
All right. Have a good weekend. Enjoy paying $30 to get into a bar on Saturday night.
No, I might pay-per-view it, to be honest. I might have some guys over and pay-per-view it. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm debating.
I think Bud will be in the ring about 10:45, so I'll be over with my cookies and box wine at about 9. It's my staple of going to a fight.
That's good.
No, sounds good. You will not be ridiculed for bringing cookies and box wine over to my place as much as you were the last time. So let me know.
I was a little. I took some bruises on that one, so I need a rebound. So you're my lifeline. Thank you.
Hey, no, yeah, I'm all about second chance. I'm all about bounce back. So let me know. Have a good week, guys.
Thank you. Was that intended for us, or was that for his dating profile?
Maybe a little both.
You can follow Jacob on Twitter on Jacob A. Bigelow,
never
or
noticed
you can
those
follow
names.
him on Twitter that is now X on Jacob A. Bigelow.
I heard Barbie wasn't great, boys. I heard it wasn't as great as everybody thought.
That's what I heard.
What was Barbie?
Barbie, yeah. Heard Barbie
Wasn't as
disappointed.
great.
Crushed at the box office.
It was by 200 million more over Oppenheimer.
But again, what did you want Barbie to be?
Yeah.
Like at the end, they get divorced, they have a domestic assault, something like that. The car breaks down.
Wow.
Wife beater Ken.
Yeah, I mean, it was like when we had the screening of Cocaine Bear. As long as you set your expectations at a reasonable level, you'll enjoy your experience.
It'll win.
I don't know. Some people, our neighbors saw it, and then someone else I talked to this weekend saw it. I don't know what their expectations were. So I almost wanted to say that's a you problem, because if you thought it was going to be like this Oscar-winning type of movie, it's probably not the movie for you.
What do they want Ken and Barbie to like break up and like start
really go
dating
through
other
life?
people?
Yes, go through a lot of the life trials and tribulations of
Harry met
separation.
Sally.
Yeah, and then maybe they reconnect at the end and they leave you on that. Oh,
If you
talk
haven't
about an
seen it,
art
it's
house
so
flick.
good.
Yes.
They end up at the Empire State Building at the end, and
I have not. Back to Crawford Spence Saturday night here in town. Does $30 seem high? I have not.
I don't think so.
I for Bud's fights in the state, I've gone to the pay-per-view. I've mooched off other people. I'm not afraid to pay the $89.95 or $100. Not afraid to pay that. Does $30 go into a bar on a major fight night seem like a lot? What's the going rate for a good UFC fight? Because those are the two events that a bar, because they're paying the pay-per-view, would charge a cover. So a mega fight, a Bud fight, or a UFC. Is 30 the average?
30
Yeah,
sounds
I
about
think
right.
30 is usually the sweet spot now. For UFC ones, I mean, there's certain bars that I don't even know if they charge you that much anymore.
Right, because they'll advertise that they'll have it on. And
And they just know that you're going to go and you're going to buy drinks, you're going to buy food, and that's worth it to them. But as far as this particular event, like Crawford fights, I know have typically demanded a cover charge, at least most bars that I'm aware of. This one should, without question, because this is the one. But 30, I don't know. Do you think, I mean, it's 20, I mean, 20, maybe 20's in the wheelhouse. But I feel like, 30's usually kind of the common number there.
It's amazing because when Bud first got his first belt and it was overseas and it was at an odd time, either like in the afternoon.
Because it was in Scotland, wasn't it?
Yeah, the only place that was showing it, and they're now shuttered, was the Brewskis over on 84th. I remember getting an email from the owner and he said, "Hey, we're going to have the Bud Crawford fight on if you guys want to come over and watch." That was his first time he won a belt. Now we are on the cusp of the mega fight in Vegas. And we're talking about $30 at a bar to watch Bud fight, or you don't even think twice about dropping $100 to get the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Man's come a long way.
Although I do feel like if you drop 30, you should get your first round, or you get a drink with that. Especially if you go to some of those places that they have a larger drinks than others. Yeah, I think that should be a part of it. That's just me.
Complimentary beer and mozzarella stick.
Whether you're charging or not, and if you are charging, just make sure you advertise that. So when the person that is not a fight fan, they're out on a Saturday night and they show up and they can't get into your establishment because you say that'll be $30. Just make sure you let everybody know that. Yep. And if you're showing the fight and you want people to know, let us know, and we'll tell you throughout the week.
Yeah, I was going to say, they call in. We have friends.
Yeah, because that's the last thing you want is somebody's out on a Saturday night They're oblivious to a Bud Crawford fight. They just want to come to your establishment, drink some beers, and all of a sudden the guy at the door goes, "That'll be $30," and they're like, "Excuse me,
for what? Preseason football?"
Oh, that will drive customers. You're got to go situation because they'll say, "Screw that, we're not coming back."
Yeah,
they're not going to come back the next day when you don't have Buddy at the door asking for $30 and hey, hold out your hand, got to stamp you,
right,
or tie one of those wristbands on. All right, Joel Lorenzi will join us here in about 15 minutes with a thought or two. He has covered Bud Crawford. I don't think there is no local media that is going out to Vegas.
Oh, wow.
World Herald is
I
not
want to say
covering
that's
it.
surprising, but this day and age, maybe not.
No. We were fortunate when Tony Boone was at the World Herald, who is in the current media, print media, the biggest boxing guy, knows it well, would cover everything that Bud did, and he doesn't work in the World Herald anymore.
Nope.
That'll be a little strange. I mean, Showtime was good to us here at the radio station. We just couldn't pull it off. But yeah, no local reporters that I believe will be in Las Vegas for the fight on Saturday night for the hometown guy. All right, quick break. Come back with more. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
The takeaway here is everything they did is worked.
And it's worked to the point that the attendance is up 8%.
That is bonkers. So, I mean it's showing itself in every facet of baseball.
It's working.
Working on the field. It's working in attendance. I'm guessing, I'm not a TV ratings guy, but I'm guessing the postseason is going to have an uptick in viewership.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Strong to severe thunderstorms possible this morning will move out by mid-morning, becoming partly cloudy for your afternoon and hot today. High of 95 in Omaha, but feeling like 102 this afternoon. Southerly wind gusts possible later today, up to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy and a bit warm, a low of 71. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
Food, festivals, and a whole lot of fun. You're sure to find some this summer in Sarpy County, Nebraska. From festivals and fireworks to homemade ales and beers to a winery and distilleries, Sarpy County is your go-to destination for summertime celebration. There's also shopping, sports action, concerts, and a whole lot more. But summer isn't going to last forever, so get out your calendar, click GoSarpy.com, and start making plans. Sarpy County Tourism. So near, so fun.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
It started in Lincoln. Now it's in Omaha. It's Muchachos. At the heart of Muchachos is family. Muchachos uses new Mexican flavors with smoked barbecue passed down from generations. This flavor sensation is called New Mexican Barbecue Fusion. Come get your eat on and nosh on slow smoked pork brisket, chicken, queso, and mac. Try the fan favorite Hatch Mac Burrito with a craft beer or margarita. Muchachos is south of the Old Market at 1285 South 13th Street, or check them out at yomuchacho.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
And Motley Crue take over the truck August 13th. This week, listen to the Heifer Show to win tickets. All the details at 1620thezone.com.
All right, 33 past the hour. Last hour of Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Indianapolis will be our home on Wednesday and Thursday. Nebraska will be there on Thursday as coaches have returned to Lincoln. Players will hit the field 1 week from today. Don't forget Fan Day coming up on Sunday. So we have lots for you throughout the entire week. Here's an email into the Equitable Bank inbox from Bob on a discussion with Jacob about the Spence Crawford fight and charging. But first, Bob would like to say he saw Barbie yesterday. Easily one of the worst movies I have ever seen, and I had low expectations.
Oh. Yeah, Gary, my sample size is small from the people I talked to, and one was a female, one was a male, but he went with his kids, and both said not good.
TC says this could have been the Barbie ending. G.I. Joe beats up Ken. G.I. Joe and Barbie end the movie like they do in An Officer and a Gentleman.
Oh, nice. Same song and everything. Or driving off like Bluto and the girl at the end of Animal House. And
You know, everybody knew David Keith as Jack Parkman. I remember him in Officer and a Gentleman, but that's just me.
Bob continues with his email here. Charging $30 is completely reasonable, so bars can keep out the troublemakers. See DJs on 114th last year on pay-per-view Fight Night.
That's true. They had the incident out there. That is true.
People who are truly out for a nice evening and watching a match will gladly pay $30 to keep the chances of being hit during crossfire to a bare minimum.
Wow.
Well, it makes a good point.
There's a point to be made there, but
if you are coming to cause trouble, usually you don't have an extra 30 to watch the fight.
It's true.
Or you have lost, or maybe it's the opposite way. You lose 30 or more dollars because of the fight, thus leading to a little angst in the parking lot.
You're grumpy.
Yep.
All right, so maybe 30 is a reasonable amount. I would think that there would probably be some places they get a little VIP access. Our good friends at Let It Fly, they have that second level.
Yep.
Where you would have a better view of the TVs, charge a little rate to go upstairs at Let It Fly and watch the fight. I wonder if that's a possibility.
Like the private room, the Velvet.
You know what they should do? Hey, so they had an incident downtown at Gene Leahy Mall.
yeah, they shut it down early.
Yeah, they had some people that wanted to pull their best Bud Crawford out and start boxing the entire group of people that was in the park. And I don't know if you guys been there. They got the band shell. They've shown movies. I mean, it's a really, really great addition to downtown Omaha. So the authorities are trying to make sure that we keep it,
nice.
Yeah. What if the, the mayor she's fighting that recall, whatever that petition is, or that guy that was out in my parking lot the other day going, hey, can you sign this? Well, usually when you're trying to get people to sign a petition, you usually first tell them what you are. Not just, hey, can you sign this?
Yeah.
Because that's what normal people do. They're like, hey, no problem. You're a stranger. I'll just sign whatever away. What if the mayor like approved and there was some money in the city budget and said, you know what? We will show the Bud Crawford fight at Gene Leahy Mall on Saturday night. Come one, come all.
That would be awesome. That would be great. But again, are we missing out on some other opportunities like you do that at the Capital District? They should be doing it at the Capital District.
I don't know. I'm running for re-election. I'd like to.
I think that would be and that's a way because Bud Crawford would get wind of that. He would see some images of that to once again show that Omaha is behind you, even though we don't have local media out there.
I used to think that Bud Crawford was the only thing that everybody in the city could agree on, and then one day he wore Creighton gear, and then he went back to Nebraska gear.
Oh, he's a J-sker? Oh my gosh! Take your belt. I don't support a J-sker.
And then he was the voice of the hype video prior to the Nebraska Northwestern game last year.
Yep.
Just try to keep everyone happy.
I get what he's doing. I get what he's doing. He's embracing everything that there is here in the state when it comes to the teams we root for. But you know what? Sometimes can rub people the wrong way when we start getting the Creighton, Nebraska thing.
We'll talk some Creighton hoops on that note. Joel Lorenzi, the World Herald, joins us next.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley.
Big names,
big games. We've got them all. 1620, The Zone.
Happy birthday to us. That's right. We're turning 50 this year, and we're celebrating with you. Introducing my new birthday cake streusel, topped with vanilla cake and crunchy streusel, a swirl of white icing, and showered with rainbow sprinkles. Paired with our classic combo, the one that started it all, and your favorite one-topping pizza. Happy birthday feast. Enjoy one today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah, it's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, three-quarter-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nebraska or Iowa attorneys. 13340 California Street, Suite 200, Omaha, Nebraska, 68154.
Hi, everybody. Kent Pavelka here to talk about your local concrete experts at Everlevel Concrete Repair. Now, if you have cracked or uneven concrete, Everlevel can do it all with their complete repair solutions. They fix cracks, lift sunken slabs, and protect the surface, all at a fraction of the price compared to replacement. And better yet, they offer long-term transferable warranties. I'm so glad I chose Everlevel for my driveway. Give them a call for your free inspection. That's Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Brian Harmon winning the Open or the Cubs winning 3 of 4 against the Cardinals was the Tennessee Titans announcing that they will be wearing Oiler throwbacks in 2023.
Oh,
that
beautiful.
Look, the home Houston Oiler uniform, one of the best looks of all time in the NFL.
I can hear Don Crickey's voice right now.
But am I late to the party that this has created an issue between the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans on who should be able to wear the Oilers throwbacks?
This is something the NFL should have handled because this is like with Oklahoma City when they have Sonics banners. Like, no, take those down. Those belong to Seattle. You have your franchise, and that's okay. The Titans have their franchise, and that's okay. The Oilers' history belongs to Houston. But if they don't make a ruling on it, hey, it's fair game. They were the Tennessee Oilers for 2 years.
Shouldn't, like, if Warren Moon says that Tennessee should wear the old school Oiler jerseys, isn't this debate done?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When Warren speaks, yeah.
If Bum Phillips was still around, he would, in my opinion, he'd be the authority on this. If he says it's cool, then it's cool.
Vrabel should have to dress as Bum for that game.
Yep.
Give me that Stetson, that like brown coat with the fur on the collar. And
did Bum Phillips ever go with the Phillip Rivers bolo tie?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he did. I thought he'd have a bolo.
There
Yeah.
are plenty of pictures, and then yesterday on Twitter as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were a few like Bum.
I would like, because I love this uniform. I think it's one of the best looking uniforms of all time in the NFL. Would it be asking too much of the Tennessee Titans that they wear these when they play on New Year's Eve at Houston?
Oh, even better.
Would the NFL allow that to happen?
They should.
Who will Houston root for at that point?
Talk about that would be a lot of that'd be conflict. I think we could say safely that'd be conflict.
If Warren Moon says that Tennessee gets to wear the Oiler uniforms, then they should. That's all that matters. Now, if El Del Greco and Ray Childress and Haywood Jeffries and Chris Dishman stop by, then it's solidified that those throwbacks only belong to the team in Tennessee.
Give me some Ernest Givens electric slide.
Oh yeah, I can.
Those are the days.
I wish I had the shoulder gyration the way he could. That was amazing.
The House of Pain.
Yep.
Well, that was more a Jerry Glanville thing, but
Eddie George says yes, they belong to Tennessee. Oh, so this is a debate that is settled. The Houston, you have no claim to the Oiler throwbacks, except when they come and they play in your stadium on New Year's Eve wearing them.
Yep.
And Warren Moon is on the Tennessee sideline as an honorary coach.
Yeah.
Dubbed by Mike Vrabel, who doesn't get an F, doesn't give an F what you think about.
Yeah. Also, a bit like I don't know what the big deal is here. Just trying to win a football game.
Settled. Totally settled.
Email into the Equitable Bank inbox. Earlier, we began the show talking about the Open. Yes, did happen this weekend. Brian Harmon won. He was fantastic putting. So
yes,
within 10 feet of the cup, that's where he won the tournament. He did not bomb it. So our bombers that are around golf, we played 1980s golf where you just kept in the fairway and you didn't hurt yourself, and he won going away. But there's the part of him performing this weekend with the network that the broadcast was carried on. And I don't want to single out NBC because, when they were not on NBC on Saturday and Sunday solely, Peacock was bad, USA Network was bad. Terry writes in, hi, guys. Hi, Terry. I've never been hot on Paul Azinger, but that's partly because I was a huge fan of Johnny Miller. With the live split, losing David Faraday was huge. Replacing him with Brad Faxon was a horrible idea. What trash heap did they find him on? They couldn't find someone more relevant?
Well, you know who's making his way into that role slowly but surely is going to be Smiley Kaufman.
Yes.
He's getting there. He's getting there, man.
So I'm not a huge fan of Azinger either. They tried one thing yesterday that I get it. You're in the business. You want as many eyeballs to stick with you when there is no drama. They started because we did this with the U.S. Open. Maybe it's an NBC thing. Is they started to go what if scenarios.
Yeah.
Like what happens if Harmon collapses? This could take place. And there was no inkling that he was going to completely collapse. I'm like, oh, come on. We all have our film material, but this is a little bit of a stretch to convince listeners that Harmon's going to break down and all of a sudden he's going to lose the lead.
It was the same thing with Wyndham Clark, though. Remember, there was always that hinting of, but Wyndham, could he collapse there towards the end? We could get a playoff. And at some point, you know what? I think if you're in that chair, you become one of us. So I have no problem with them bringing that up because it's what we wanted. So they're basically saying exactly what's on our mind. Like when they were talking about the U.S. Open with I want to say it was on 15 or 16 on that Sunday. And it was brought up of, how basically they didn't say, what if Wyndham Clark just absolutely craps down his leg? But it was the question was brought up. Does he have the fortitude to keep it together as you're getting closer and closer, as if to say, hey, what if this happens? Which is what I was thinking. Hell, I was hoping. I wanted to see Rory. I wanted to see a playoff. Same thing going into yesterday. When I mentioned John Rahm when he shot the 63 on Saturday, thinking, okay, what if Harmon comes back and Rahm's able, or anybody is able to kind of get on a heater Could we make this thing close? To Brian Harmon's credit, it didn't happen. But for anybody who sort of suggests it, whether you're just a casual fan or you're in the broadcast booth and you suggest it, I have no problem with that. I really don't.
Back to the Warren Moon discussion. So this is from Taylor, living here in Omaha, listening to the show. Thank you. Equitable Bank inbox comes the email. As an 8-year-old boy without a favorite team, in an era of quarterback Marino, Warren Moon was my favorite quarterback. Thus, I became a fan of the Houston Oilers. I also remember the day when I was completely devastated when I was told the news that he was moving on to the Vikings. Yeah, that was odd to see Warren Moon wearing a Viking uniform.
Yeah, they decided to go with Commander Cody that lasted like 4 games.
But he says, when you say Houston Oilers, who's the first player you think of?
Warren Moon.
Warren Moon. Still Warren Moon.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I would have gone Earl Campbell or Phillips.
Yeah. Earl Campbell. Yeah, but for me, Warren Moon.
Part of it's just because, the era. So I always say the way we did it in our house, it was everyone's a Cowboys fan except the one rogue uncle. And with the small TV would be on top of the big screen. And so the Oilers on NBC would get the small TV.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes.
What makes that uncle rogue?
Because he was the one Oilers fan in a family full of
I didn't
Cowboys
know if there were other
fans.
priors or something like that.
No.
I just want to clear, anything up.
But you'd get the Oilers on the small TV and you get the NFC, or if the Cowboys were playing at the same time on the big TV. So when you ask the question, I still see Warren Moon, that run and shoot, just prettiest deep ball that you'd ever see. But yeah, I got you with Earl. Earl's a great answer.
Warren Moon guys also had the if you collected football cards, he had the great card where it was against the Rams when they were playing in Anaheim, and it's just him throwing a pass. Yeah. He throws the bomb. That was like the bomb card.
Yep.
And I'm sure on the other end of it was Hayward Jeffries or Ernest Givens was ready to receive the pass. These uniforms are fantastic. I hope they wear the helmets with the gray face mask.
And you got to have the oil derrick as well. You need the oil deck there.
Remember, their cheerleaders were the Derrick dolls.
Yep, the oil derrick needs to be a part of it.
They could pull off the what was it? The Converse shoes that Earl Campbell wore.
Yeah.
They should go all in on that.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we're going to do this, you got to do it right. The attention to detail on this. Does Converse, do they still do stuff other than Chuck Taylor's?
I don't know. They lost out on Jordan in the movie Air this summer.
They
did.
So
I think they went out of business.
Damn it. It was just a constant reminder of the downfall of Converse. You can go to Boston, you can get your own signature style Chuck Taylor's. There's an actual store that you can have custom Chuck Taylors. Other than that, does Converse exist?
Yeah.
As far as sports shoes?
I'm wearing a brand new pair of Hokas today, so I don't know.
What do you think of those?
Oh, I'm wearing Chucks today. I forgot that.
Okay, so
there we go.
So I do a lot of walking,
Yep.
and I don't have the greatest shoes, and I have some problem with my feet, and so I was convinced that these are these shoes. But then I looked at the soles, and I'm like, I'm not getting into Skechers. I'm not 75. I'm not Pete Rose.
Hey, Howie Long has them.
And the sales person was like, wait till you try them on. Like, it doesn't matter. Everybody's wearing them now. And I'm like, no, that's not true. You're just trying to sell me. Next thing you know, you're going to say, hey, you know what? Your oil filter is like, it's a little dirty here. Your air filter as well. We're going to change that for you.
We'll get you a good deal.
In terms of walking, like I've only had them since yesterday. Yeah, they're the real deal.
Yeah,
it's a whole different experience.
I have teacher friends that wear them, but I also have running friends that wear them.
See, I tried them on for running. I'm team Saucony, but I tried them on for running, and the cushion, like being in the middle of the foot, it's different. I could see like walking and like kind of breaking those in, how comfortable they would be. It was so different. I stuck with the Sauconys, but I was definitely intrigued. So I'm always curious on how people, because I know some people love them. Other people, it's just so different that they don't go with them.
We'll finish here because we have another question into the Equitable Bank inbox. This time it is from Jason. You can bring back one logo. He likes this talk of the Houston Oilers. There's another part of the Warren Moon, like when you were a kid, of trying to figure out your favorite team if your parents didn't try and, brainwash you.
Like I was.
I imagine there were a lot of Oiler fans that were birthed because they were good, but Warren Moon was a cool quarterback. He wore number 1. I mean, Warren Moon was a cool customer, so you became a fan of the Oilers. Jason says, bring back one logo. Oilers logo, Redskins logo, Patriots logo, or I think this is when the Cardinals were in St. Louis, and it is of the Redbird wearing football pants and cleats running underneath the Gateway
Oh,
arch.
yeah. The last one, absolutely. I remember seeing that. In fact, you could still get, it wasn't that long ago, you could still get hats with that. There was a run of hats. Yeah. It's out there.
I've never seen this logo
I don't know
before.
if I've seen it either.
It's cool. Yeah, just look
And
at
I
it.
have all kinds of useless knowledge.
Well, one of them is never coming back.
Right. And
the Patriots have started to bring back the Patriot hiking the football.
Yep.
They've brought that back a little bit more. I don't know where the Oiler logo is going to come back and go.
Yeah.
I associate that Patriots logo to is Steve Grogan in the 86 Super Bowl just getting demolished by my Bears. That's so anytime they wear the Reds, I'm like, ha, 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 ha. Yeah. Those are death shrouds.
If I had to bring back one, it's no doubt it'd be the Oilers. And this is where the Texans went wrong. They should have negotiated with the NFL. Let us have that back, kind of like what they did with the Browns when they came back in 99. And they should have been the Oilers. But then they went for easy and went with Texans. So,
Well, they'll bring them back this year for a game, and they should also wear them when they go on the road and they play at Houston.
I love it. Get that hate going.
All right, that'll do it for the show. This is a kickoff to a busy week around here. We got Big Ten Media Days. We got the Crawford Spence fight. We'll have all of those things covered. I'll be off to Indy tomorrow morning. It'll be Nick and Jimmy with a full slate of great guests. And then Connor and myself will be live in Indianapolis on Wednesday and Thursday. Nebraska goes on Thursday. We'll have Matt Rule here on 1620 for a brief bit coming up on Thursday as well. Crossovers coming up next. Nick, I hope the little one feels a lot better tomorrow.
Appreciate that. Safe travels.
All right. We will talk to you guys on Wednesday. For Nick, for Jimmy, I'm Gary. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley at 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this